That includes the public as well. I just got a vision of that coming over. Right, ordinary meeting, agenda. Number 1 on the agenda, apologies. I will now hand over to the clerk to read out the list of apologies.
I have received apologies from Councillor Meek, who is returning from holiday, Councillor Glanville, who has a prior engagement, and Councillor Wright, who is recuperating from surgery.
Thank you for that, David. Is everybody happy about that? Thank you. We'll go on to number 2 now. Declarations of interest. Council to receive any declarations of interest in accordance with the requirements of the Localism Act 2011 and to consider any applications for dispensation and relation to disclosable pecuniary interests or personal interests. Are there any? No? If anything crops up as we're going through the agenda, please let us know just before that item on the agenda. Okay, thank you very much. Number 3, public participation time. I've got something. Members of the public may now speak. Please note that 15 minutes is available to members of the public to speak. Does anyone wish to speak? This time on first, could you state your name and stand up so that the councillors can hear you?
My name is Malcolm Rose, 66 Wooldale Drive. I noticed the trees have been cut from around the lamp post on the path up from the Church Bridge to the top of the cave, but the lamp is still damaged. And there still will get water ingress into it. I think it ought to be sorted out. What's a new cap on?
Right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, Roger Ingold, 68 Wooldale Drive. The marking on the island at junction of Scarborough Road and 165.
Yeah.
The key bollard on this end of it has been down 2 weeks before Christmas. Is still down. Last week, when that mist was about, it was quite a hazard, and I actually followed a traffic car round the island, and nobody's done anything about it. So it's been like it for a good 3 weeks. And the other thing is, why are the lights on in the town at the moment when we're supposed to be economising and cutting down on street lighting?
Can you answer that one, Councillor Clark?
I know there are some problems with the street lights at the moment, so we had to let a number of incidents know in terms of lights coming on and off in the town, and we have informed both the borough and the county council of the issues, so they should be being dealt with extremely quickly now, I hope so.
Because they're only going to be on all the time.
No,
they will be being turned off very soon.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Yes, sorry.
Hi, Robson, 3 on Avenue 5. I recently took over the snack bar on the fancy goods at the bottom of Cargate Hill, and there was a rumour that the toilets would be shut in. I talked to a lady on the toilet who runs the toilet, who cleans the toilets, and she said, no way, they aren't shut this year. The only ones that are shut in are Glen Gardens and the Country Park. Lo and behold, the first day after our term, all the doors were shut. Phoned the council, got no sort of reply off them. Scarborough contacted Councillor Smith, and I got a reply off Paul Thompson, who said to me there's no demand. There's no demand for that toilet box to reopen. I've worked there over the winter trying to make a living. Their idea is, there's no toilet for me. So if I go to the toilet, I've got to shut the doors, put all my stuff in, watch Cobb Landing, come back, reopen my unit again. Now, if that makes sense for anybody, I'll eat me out. You know, it's a stupid way of working. But that was their solution to me having a toilet. In consequence, people, one after the other over Christmas, have asked me, if I got £1 for everyone that's asked me, I've made an awful lot of money this Christmas. every single day, people. Can you tell them to rush down those steps at the side from the town? Can you tell them where the new toilet is? Cobble Landing. So I send them up to Cobble Landing and they'll get them back. Royal Parade's had it been open, yet their toilet block's been open. Evidently that one's open because it's got a car park next to it on West Avenue. In the winter months it's hardly used, that car park, it's negligible on the people park up there. And there they will not go. I mean, our payment was £20,000. Oh, I do payment, what was our payment? £20,000 in lease money for those 2 units. And they won't open, even the night toilets on the end. And I just, you know, I went down to Cobble Landing and asked them, and they were just like, well, we don't pay rent, but we've still got a toilet. They pay hardly anything in rates to the council, but they've got a toilet they can trade 24, so you know, 24/7, you know, every day of the year. If they walk over, they don't. You know, I went down this morning and I said they've got £30,000 or something on there for a cobble. 30 grand, wouldn't that be better paid? You know, money like that, better off investing in a toilet. It's a function that every single person on this planet does. It's not just for our creed. But the amount of people that are asking for these jobs is unbelievable.
Right, thank you for that, Barry. Can Councillor Cross and Councillor Cockle take that on board, please?
Well, I think you're going to be talking about it later on, aren't you?
Not the opening of the toilets and the closing of the toilets. The toilets in particular. Okay.
It has been through and it has been a farce in my opinion, because just before Christmas, Ravine was shut. And Chris from the Lifeboat House had to phone up the Borough Council and get somebody else to open it. When I chased it up, nobody knew anything about it. It's ridiculous.
Right. Right. Good, thank you. Right. Oh, Councillor Holden, sorry.
Good evening. Just in regards to what you said, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's absolutely appalling that they aren't open. And if you have time, on number 14 on the agenda is the discussion about public toilets here with Farley Town Council. I'm truly for taking the council to take it on, and it will be debated at some stage, maybe not totally this evening, but it will be up for debate. You know, having you here saying something like this, I do know it's under Scarborough. Scarborough's offered us a small amount of money to take the toilets on per toilet, and it's something that this council is hopefully going to debate later if we can get an agreement with it. But I wholly agree with what you're saying, and I can appreciate your frustration.
Thank you, Harry. Do you want to...
Yeah, it's recurring every year. You know, it's really time that it's important. I'd like to suggest that we do send a letter to Scarborough Council asking for at least a night toilets to be opened down there. And then it does give Barry a chance to, you know, at least go to the toilet without having to.
Yes.
It's all the visitors are
Right.
as well.
Yes.
So I'd like to suggest that we send a letter and just asking for that.
Are you proposing?
I'll propose that.
Right, have we got a second for that, please? Councillor Wilkie, you'll second it. All those in favour of that? Okay. Councillor Haxton.
As Councillor Shackleton says, this is a perennial problem. The previous owner of the cafe even offered to look after the toilets himself through winter, and it came to his council, if you recall, and the borough refused it, and it wouldn't have cost them a penny, and they actually refused it. Now this is the borough fee.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Haxton. Anybody else wish to speak on this? Councillor Holden Banks.
I recognise that this isn't possibly the right time to discuss the toilets, but I'll wait till the time's right, thank you. So just with Councillor Haxby and Councillor Shackleton seeming to be in agreement with how badly run they are by Scarborough at the minute.
Right, thank you for that. Yes, this is about the toilets.
Yes, I gathered that, that's fine.
Not the rest of the toilets. That's on the agenda for later on. Okay, thank you. Does anybody else wish to speak on that? No? Does any other member of the public wish to speak? Or speak again? No? Well, thank you very much for that, members of the public. We'll now move on to number 4 on the agenda, North Yorkshire Police Report. I hope you've had a chance to read the report. I will now hand over to the representative of the police, Sergeant Vicky Mason.
Other one, Vicky Leeson. Yeah.
Well, I've got written down here.
Vicky anyway. It's been fairly, I'm not allowed to say the Q word, am I? It just makes it go, everything goes wrong. It's been fairly steady, especially over Christmas. We didn't have a great deal. So I think my beat manager Mark has put together sort of what we've had, really. You can all read it. There is an update to the St Oswald's Church Fest. That person failed to attend court and is now wanted. We know where she is. We are looking for her. We will be bringing her in shortly. So that's a work in progress. They've been today and there's been nobody in, so we are working on that. We've identified suspects for the damage to the police vehicles, which were parked in the rear of the Hebron car park, and he's been arrested, I think, and he's been to court. I don't think, like I said, it's been fairly steady. Reynolds Street has been causing us issues, however that is well in hand. What I understand is a couple of the residents that were causing the issues have moved, so they're not there anymore. So that's good news from that point of view. I don't know if there's anything anybody would like to ask with regards to the report that is not taken. Or
Does any other members of the council wish to ask Vicky any questions? No?
I think we're all fairly pleased to be quiet, Chair, aren't we?
Well, yeah.
oh, you said it. You said the Q word. Yeah, it usually means the wheel comes off. It's been really, we've not had a great deal reported over Christmas or in the run up to Christmas, and the stuff that has been done, it's been dealt with, and people have been.
Can I just ask you, Vicky, about the crime at St Oswald's?
Yes.
Is that a new crime, or is it the people who...
No, it was reported to us
visited?
over the summer. One or two people said they'd seen somebody, they'd been to visit the graves of the loved ones, and there was stuff that had been taken and gone missing. And as a result of it, we got a couple of phone calls from members of the public saying that they knew where this person was and who she was, and when we did a door knock, the flat was just full of all these ornaments and things like that. So some of them have been repatriated to the owners, not everything, unfortunately, but quite a lot of it has. So that's really good. I think we've got about 12 or 15 complainants, something like that.
Now, I think you've missed the question. You've reported in here that it's been another crime at St Oswald's. Have I read it wrong?
No, it was the same one. I think somebody who doesn't live locally anymore had been to visit.
That's it.
And they'd noticed something was missing, so it's been linked in with that incident, that particular incident. Like I say, she's failed to turn up at court, so she's now on our hit list. It won't be long. It won't be long.
Thanks, Vicky.
All right.
Nobody else no councillors want to ask any more questions. Okay then, we'll move on. Thank you very much for coming along. You've escaped tonight. So we'll move on now.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I can't go on, this internet link is not working.
No.
It is.
My internet's not working.
Can't get into the agenda, we can't get into any documents.
I'm the same if I get the hard copy. You're alright, you're on. Are they on the download? You always download, don't you, John?
Yes. I always download.
No, not this evening, Jackie.
No, I downloaded it.
Are you on?
Yeah. Well,
Yes, but mine's downloaded.
Yeah, we don't need to. That's what I mean, yeah. That's why I've got this, I didn't, and you did.
You three are right now.
I'm up, yes?
Yes.
No, I'm John is.
Just to clarify, I download and save files.
Yes, I remember you saying in the past that you do that.
it goes into my file and it's on there. But I should see it if I can get online.
You're right, John.
Come on now. just needed researching up there.
Okay then. Right, we'll move on now then to number 5 on the agenda. Birmingham County Council reports. Canterbury Council Councillors reports. Are there any? Councillor Cotter, have you got a report?
Just one item, Mr. Mayor. The last time I was asked about the Farney Fudley Aviation Scheme, I informed you that there were ongoing discussions and negotiations with three landowners still outstanding. I'm pleased to be able to report that 2 of the landowners have now signed heads of terms and access licence. Regrettably, we have not been able to agree formal words with the remaining landowner, but are still attempting to resolve this impasse. This impasse has meant a fundamental change to the design may be required, and work on this is in progress. This also means that a new planning application will have to be submitted, and if required this will be submitted on completion of the design process. The basic difference between the designs being that instead of a shallow ditch and bund being created at the northern end of the mill field, a wall will be built adjacent to part of the southern boundary of the top school. And I thank EBO for their excellent cooperation in this. Whilst this may cause a delay to the project, the revised programme does show that the project can still be completed this year.
Right, thank you for that. Any questions for Councillor Cockram? Councillor Busman?
Does that have any implication on the cost doing this work?
As part of the after the design's been completed for the alternative, if we haven't got agreement with the landowner on the present scheme, then it will go out to re-tender, because it's quite a fundamental change. But the initial indication is that it won't have a significant effect on the cost.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cockrell. Councillor Shackleton?
Yes, Mike, mention a wall to be built at the schools. Water will build up behind the school, so obviously that's going to be channeled to somewhere. Yeah.
It will be done so that it still goes the same way.
Right, thank you. Councillor Haxby?
Yeah, I appreciate the problems, but going back to 2002 and 3, it is minuted in the committee minutes that there may be problems with landowners. And then it was said that there would be no problems with compulsory purchase. Now that was, what, 13, 14 years ago. And suddenly at the 11th hour there is a problem with a landowner. You know, to be honest, Mike, we've had 14 years to sort it out. We knew that there would be a problem with one landowner. And
I'm sorry to you, I didn't have that crystal ball.
It's minuted in the minutes of going back to 2003. And you were chairman.
Yeah, I know.
So you knew very well there may be problems.
Yeah, I think you'll find that you were talking about a different landowner.
Well, it doesn't matter which landowner, it was mentioned there was a problem with landowners.
Particular difference.
And I've not mentioned a particular landowner.
Yeah. Knowing the one that there was a potential problem with, this is not the one that I am dealing with at the moment.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor Shackleton?
I'd just like to go from there. Is it so difficult to go on to compulsory purchasing?
Obviously, the easiest way is to get agreement. And compulsory purchase was considered last year. And we felt sufficient progress that it would have just prolonged it, because it isn't a simple process. So we felt stick with trying to do it nicely. But then, as I said, there is this hold up at the moment, but we haven't got the alternative, and the school would welcome it, quite honestly, because it gives them added protection.
So now, sorry Chair, now that this has been sorted then, do we have
It's not sorted, it's in progress.
Are we anywhere near a start date for the scheme now?
If we could get agreement with the formal words with the existing landowner, talking to Balfour Beatty, they could start mid-March. If we can't get agreement and it's got to go through a planning and re-tendering, it's going to be middle of the year before it will start. But again, complete this year. This is what I'm told.
Right, thank you for that. Does any other councillor wish to ask Councillor Cockrell any question? No? Thank you very much, Councillor Cockrell.
Just one point on what Mr Ingle raised about that pollard. Don't forget, it's not actually in Filey.
No. It's still North Yorkshire, though, isn't it?
It's North Yorkshire, but it doesn't come under Filey.
Okay. We'll go on now to Councillor Cross. Yes, Councillor Cross.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just a couple of things. Firstly, having sat down here tonight and spoke to Barry, I know his concerns about the toilets and the problems that he's having, and I will have a word with Paul Thompson tomorrow. I think at the time going back when Mr Speak at the premises, we were trying to sort it out then, so he could have a night key for the toilet. We'll have to get to some resolution regarding that. The other thing, I sent an email to the clerk either today or yesterday regarding the bid, the Yorkshire Coast bid. I've been speaking to many businesses over the weekend in Whitby who are very concerned about this bid and the effect that the extra tax is going to have on them, and you know it's going to affect their businesses, and you know it could stop people actually opening businesses, and it will affect the people at Filey. And the organisers up there, and I won't give the lady's name because we can't with GDPR give names in this council, but she has cordially invited any members of Filey Town Council to come and see the concerns, because Whitby Town Council is one of the hot topics with them. The lady is on Whitby Town Council, and she would love members of Filey Town Council to come up on the 28th of this month to actually see what is going on and the concerns that the businesses have up there with this stealth tax that is being introduced, sort of thing. So there's a cordial invite, you know, to actually turn up and come to see what's been said with the Yorkshire Coast bid.
Right, thank you, Councillor Cross. Are there any questions for Councillor Cross? Councillor Holden-Brown.
Is the Yorkshire Coast bid this bid that was the over 12,000 this year to pay more than that? Is there anything, I'm wholly in disagreement with that. I've been very vocal about how much I disagree with this, but the point that is, I don't think there's much we can do about it, because it is a Mr Asworth that is in charge of it all. He's a consultant of it all, and it's nothing to do with the councils. That's the problem, I think. It's like double taxation, and I spoke very strongly against this, but unfortunately, you know, very few people actually put their votes in on it, because there was only a certain amount of people that could vote on it. I couldn't vote on it because I don't pay over 12 grand on my business, so I didn't even have a vote, which is, you know, so I happily come out, I happily support anybody, but I really don't see for 5 years, and they can really rebid again in 5 years if they want to stay in it or not. A lot of them have come out after 5 years.
Well, it has been taken up through in other parts. Above us, Saltburn pulled out of it, and having nothing to do with it. Hexham got together and they actually pulled out, and they refused to actually pay businesses. And the Whitby Action Group, if you go up to Whitby and you talk to the shopkeepers, sort of 100% they're against it, and they're actually going to push it and push it and push it. And all I can say is you would like Filey to get on board as well.
Councillor Catterton.
As I understand it, Councillor Cross, Scarborough voted for it.
Well,
The borough.
the percentage, what Scarborough Borough as the borough that has property there, yeah,
They had 38 votes apparently.
yeah, well they would do. You know, turkeys don't vote for Christmas, do they?
And is it also correct that the borough are the tax collectors in this matter?
That could be the case.
So there should have been a conflict of interest there, surely.
And that's what, this is one of the things that has actually been put up. I can guarantee you, without down to a man, you talk to the hotels in there, you talk to the shopkeepers, they're all against it, you know, and you know, it's a bit bigger than us, and we hope, you know, with Filey support, you know, it would look Filey support on site.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cross. I did actually,
Councillor Anthony wants to speak.
right, Councillor Anthony,
I'm really going to reiterate what Councillor Shackleton was saying, that I listened to the last Borough Council meeting, and Scarborough seemed to deny all responsibility for what's going on with this thing, but we do know that the staff are promoting it. We've had them here actually promoting it, we've talked to people promoting it, so they are being involved, they are collecting the money, so I think it's something we as a council should get involved with. And let our feelings be known, how we feel about it.
right, I actually received a letter through the clerk from Whitby, was it from you? Well, it was from, I'm sure it was from Whitby.
It's through Sam.
It was through Sam. Okay. And I think all the rest of the council's got one as well. Right, so you all understand what's going on if you've read it. Okay. So I've read it, all the rest of you have read it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right? So surely we could make a decision whether to back that letter or not from here, surely. Can we?
I think.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, it's not on the agenda, but not only that, it's just the fact that I do know there's particular business in Fire that's very much pushing for this, and I don't know whether that might be somebody you need to speak to who's for this, and has rallied a lot of local business support for this. So they voted to do this, so as a council was voting against it when the actual businesses voted that had a vote, this is, to do it, might not be that happy that we're saying, because they voted to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea, but that's what they voted to do.
Yeah, but we can't just work for one business.
Absolutely not, no.
And I think we've got to look at the point, it might be just anybody that's rates over 12,000 at present time. And, you know, next time, it's going to be anybody
drop
that's
it.
you know.
Exactly. Councillor Cockburn.
Yes, could I just clarify, Chairman, whilst the Borough Council, as I understand it, is the accountable body for the DBID, as far as I'm aware, no councillor was involved in deciding about the votes. Certainly I wasn't.
Right. Right. Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Cockrell.
I think the council did give 15,000 for mosaic to do via the cabinet to actually look at it and give their views on it. 15,000 was made by the cabinet.
Right.
Which is contrary to what we've just been told.
No, it's not.
No.
15,000 were given to mosaic by the council. From the cabinet.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cross and Councillor Cockrell. Pardon? Councillor Haxby.
I'm just going to reinforce what's already been said, that it's a measure of the men that the Borough Council have taken 38 votes. I mean, they're one corporate body. They've got every car park, I think, got a vote in there, if I read it rightly. So, I mean, what chance have the businesses got?
Yeah.
You know, they're against 38 to start with. It's just typical.
Yeah. Right. So, what does it say on?
Does it have to be an agenda item for us?
That's to be an agenda item to discuss it, and we can do whatever is resolved at that time.
Right, can we put this on the next month's agenda then? Thank you. Councillor Wilkie.
Yes, the invitation is still there to go on the 28th.
It is.
I can't say the lady's name.
If it's a daytime meeting, I can't go, but if anything...
It's a night time meeting.
Is it night, is it?
Yeah. I'll pass the details.
Yeah, if you pass the details on there, we can decide who can, wants to...
Right.
So we can, that's in advance of the next meeting, isn't it? So
It is, yes it is.
we'll be better informed, won't we, than before. One way or the other.
Okay. Right, thank you for that. Councillor Haxby.
Yeah, it's just to bring a bit of levity to the situation. It's not often I congratulate the Borough Council, and when I do it's quite a momentous event. And yet again, in 2018 they've managed to receive a Rotten Borough Award from the Private Eye, which I think deserves congratulations. This gong follows the report that borough officers and councillors and staff could buy tickets early for Britney Spears, which will later appear for £800 on the website. And the Private Eye has obviously picked on this, and they've congratulated them, and it's helped to establish the Borough of Scarborough as one of the dodgiest local government institutions in the country, as reported on Facebook. So, I think congratulations should be in order.
Right, thank you for that. Right, is there any more questions for Councillor Cossett before we move on to Councillor Swales? No? Right, Councillor Swales.
Well, everything's still very quiet after the Christmas festivities, but I have been at a members' seminar today regarding the proposals for the budget, and we've had interviews with each of the directorates as to their proposals for 1920. The officers estimate that we still need 40 million over the next 3 years. Will be drafted for consideration on the 20th of February. And this is of course on top of the 157 million of savings that have been delivered by the end of the current financial year. As part of the County Council's budget consultation, public events will be held across the county over the next 2 weeks. At these events, people will be able to talk to council officers and will be encouraged to complete the County Council's online budget consultation. It's your service, your say that does this. The consultation event in Scarborough is on the 16th of January at Scarborough College from 12:30 till 2 o'clock. So, I mean, do please spread the word, because it is important, especially important in these years when down the line I think we may well be, as I've stated to you before, facing some very real difficulties. And we need to get these right and know what people out there that use the services are experiencing, what their experience is, and their inside knowledge. So that we can get the best service we can at the most economical price. And we need to know what's important to people. If you can't make an event, you can access the website and find out where any others if you can't make that particular one. But you can still take part in the consultation simply by visiting the website and going to the dedicated area. And I do urge people to pass the word around, because it is important. In all our consultations, it is important that we get as much information as we possibly can, so that we can make the most informed decisions, and hopefully the right ones. Does anybody have any questions for me? Because I'm afraid I haven't really got very much at the moment. That's fresh to tell you.
No, that's fine, Councillor Swales, that's fine. Is there any questions for Councillor Swales? Councillor Shackleton?
I'd just like to say, Chair, it's been very quiet in Farley over Christmas.
Yeah.
It has.
Normally at last. Unless it's for jubilation.
Any other councillors wish to speak? No?
I was going to say, as for the lamp, can you report it through the portal, because that's the quickest and easiest way. I think that's, then you know it gets into the system.
Yes. Yes, we will. Okay. Well, there's no more questions for Councillor Swales, so thank you very much, Councillor Swales, for attending this evening. And a Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
I may just say, I'm sure that Councillor Meek will have been compiling the list.
It would have.
Well, he's been away on holiday, so...
That might as well enjoy the rest.
Yes, enjoy it while you can. Okay, right, thank you for that. We'll move on to number 6 on the agenda. Town Clerk and RFO report. Council to receive a report from Town Clerk and RFO. We'll now hand over to the Clerk.
I hope you all have a chance to read the report, and if you've got any questions, please give them. Okay.
Councillor Wilkie.
Have you met with Morpheus?
Not yet, no.
Right, that's still to come, is it?
Yeah, that's still to come.
That's all, thank you.
We did get a positive response from them all. They were very keen to end the dialogue with us.
Okay. Do any other councillors wish to ask anything of the Clerk? No? Okay, thank you for that, Clerk. We'll move on now to number 7 on the agenda. Minutes of the ordinary meeting held on Wednesday, this 12th of December 2019. You have all had a chance to read the minutes. Please could I have a proposer and a seconder to approve them?
I propose.
Proposed that way, yeah. Okay, all those in favour? Thank you. Number 8 on the agenda. Council committee minutes and reports from local organisation meetings. Council to receive a summary by the chair of the meetings below and to note the minutes. I hope you have all had a chance to read the minutes. Before we note these minutes, could I ask the chairs of each committee if they have anything they wish to comment on in the minutes? Well, I'll come up first, and I haven't anything to comment on. And strategic. Councillor Wilkie?
I'll just comment on, I've given my apologies for the strategic planning, I'm not actually on that committee, as far as I know.
Are you the chair of a committee?
Planning.
Therefore you're on that.
You're on this block.
You're on the strategic plan.
Yeah, planning isn't planning.
No.
Planning is the only one.
Never been on it before.
Yeah.
Ah, right, sorry, I was misinformed.
It's okay.
Okay. Thank you for that, Councillor Wilkie. We're going to planning next. Have you got anything to report on planning?
No meeting.
No meeting, so okay, we'll move on then.
I agree.
Is there any other chairs of any committees wish to say anything?
We haven't had any
Meetings? Well, I'm just asking, haven't I? I've got to do. Whether you've had meetings or not, I've got to ask it, and then it's all the fault. Okay? No, we'll move on then. We'll go on to number B. Council to receive reports from members of meetings of local organisations. As councillors, please indicate who wishes to speak and the organisation covered. Councillor Holden Vance and then Councillor Anthony.
I'd like to speak for Valley Tourism Association, please. Just to inform you that the meeting was deferred last night. It's now been deferred till February, so they haven't had their AGM yet.
Right.
And to let you know that Chamber of Trade AGM is also in February.
Right, thank you. Councillor Anthony?
I called a small meeting on, you may have been wondering what's been happening to Plastic Free Council, Plastic Free Fibre. I had a meeting on Monday. It was just a very informal thing, just to find out what the starting, what the first steps are. So I met with Hilary Atkins, who is, most people may know in Fibre. She's a well-known environmental worker, runs Beach Cleans, does a lot of organic work on the allotments and things. And a guy called Steve Crawford, who lives and works in Scarborough, has a lot of contact with Surfers Against Sewage and a lot of contacts in the environmental field. So I just really wanted to get an idea of what we need to do as a council, and if we sign up to the plastic-free communities, which when we voted for a plastic-free council, that is part of what we voted for, that was part of the agreement. So what we've come up with is Surfers Against Sewage do a very good supporting programme which is run in this area by a community leader. So what we need is a community leader if we have any volunteers on the council. If not, I'm happy to do it. So, is anybody else interested enough to don't all look at me?
I am really interested in this because I think it's a scourge, isn't it, plastic? But it's just time for me to
Yeah.
do it.
Well, I would be happy to take on due diligence agreement, everything, but I will need some help in sorting things out. What we need to be doing is working with different community groups, spreading it out into the community, talking with traders, which maybe you could help with, Jackie. So as soon as I get this, if everybody's agreed that they're happy for me to do it.
First of all, is everybody happy that Councillor Anthony will do this? Can you show please? Right, thank you. Yes.
So as soon as I've got this kicked off, then I'll send an email out telling everybody where we are and what we're up to and what's required. And then I will be working with the clerk and seeing what we need to do with actually within the council. I don't think it's going to be overly much because we don't have a lot of single-use plastic. We don't use hide that. So that's where we are at the moment.
Right, thank you very much for that, Councillor Anthony. Is there any other Councillor Wilkie?
Not the report as such, but been trying to work out what's going on with the Irish Community Sports Club. The meeting in January was postponed, so there's a meeting tomorrow night, which is the first one. So hopefully we can progress something one way or the other tomorrow night. So I'll let you know once it's done that.
Right, thank you very much, Councillor Wilkie. Is there any other councillors to report on anything? No, we'll carry on then to number 9 on the agenda. Committee membership. Following the resignation of Councillor Hawley, we have vacancies on 3 committees which are required to be filled. The 3 committees are as follows. The first one, Town Map and Guide. Could we have a representative from this meeting from the Town Map and Guide? The Town Map and Guide have Susan Butterworth, Marion Anthony, it's all big, isn't it? Christine Roderick, John Thurston and Kevin Mulcahy on that. We need another one, please. And anybody offering that the names have not been read out on there. It's no use putting yourself up twice.
Can I just come in, Chair?
Yes.
We are short of members this evening.
We are, I know we are.
The right evening to be doing this.
Well, it's on the agenda, so we've got to read through it at least. We can't have a member to adjourn it until the next meeting. Is that need be?
I'd just like to make another point as well. I noticed in strategic planning that suggested putting the members to committee level, and it's almost impossible now to get volunteers onto these committees. You know, with members not turning up, I think what we need is commitment from members that sit on these committees to turn up.
Yeah.
You know, you can have 9 members on, but you know, if members aren't willing to turn up.
Well, this is it. This is it. And the thing is, Councillor Shackleton, or will they put their name forward? You can't force them to come.
I appreciate that, Chair.
So, but it would be nice if members who did put the names forward did try to attend the meetings. Ted Clark, Ted Clark.
As you rightly said, John, also Councillor Shackton, is very much to do with attending. And I think it's something to bear in mind as we're going forward, that when we do come to a point of agreeing times and dates for committee meetings in the future, that we take into account the makeup of that committee in terms of when those people are available, what would be their preferred time and day, etc., for the meeting to be called for. Because the reason the strategic planning suggested that was as an alternative between, because we can't force people to attend, and there is a need, because of the way that we have delegated our responsibility to committees, to have a reasonable number of people there, effectively making a decision as the council would make the decision as a whole. And in some ways, I think that there's a major question mark whether 3 people in a committee of 6 is the right number of people to make a delegated decision on behalf of a full 13-member council. So that's the really only reason that was done, and it was done really on the back of enhancing the potential. It was more important around the quorum, to try and get the specific meetings. The quorum would be as the full council quorum would be, i.e. 5. So there is some logic behind there, but I think there's lots more that can be done than just simply upping the numbers, which you said, Councillor.
But I'd just like to say I'm a very proud chairman of the Finance Committee, and I'm almost certain that 9 meetings out of 10 we are fully committed members that attend.
Right. So we're deferring this until the next meeting when there's more members here.
Yes, there's more members here.
Yes.
If I may just come back, Chair, with not many months now, you know, to a new council.
May I suggest that the difficult one out of those 3 is property. With only 5 members on the property committee meeting, we have struggled on a number of occasions in the last 6 months to beat quorum on a Thursday morning, and that is a difficult time for people to attend. So I would suggest that if there isn't enough people there, then I might be given the power to try and co-opt some people onto that to allow it to be quorum.
I'll come back on that.
You'll come back on property. So that's one for property then.
How many does that take that committee up to?
6 up to 6.
So that doesn't, is that...
I would, knowing that Councillor Shackleton, if he says he's going to attend a meeting, well, in the vast majority of cases attend a meeting, yes, I would suggest that would be made acceptable.
So next meeting you can take the property out.
Are we all in favour of Councillor Shackleton going on that committee?
Well, precisely.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Okay, so we'll take the property out of that then for the next meeting. Okay, because that's full now. That's good. Okay. Right, we'll move on to number 10 now. Schedule of payments. Do any members wish to make a comment or ask a question about the schedule? No?
No. I'll move those, Chair.
No? If not, You'll have a chance to comment. Please could I have a proposer and a seconder to approve the schedule? Councillor Button has proposed it. I'll second it. All those in favour? Everybody. Okay. Right, we'll go on to number 11 now. The Richard Bomb Following the presentation by the Merlin Boroughs team regarding the location of the wreck of the Bonham Richard, the council will discuss and resolve their part in the project. Going forward, I open the item to discussion and resolution. Who wants to speak on this first? Councillor Anthony.
I just want to say that I was very unhappy with the private email that we got from an unnamed person. I couldn't see a name on the email prior to the meeting with Merlin Boroughs with various accusations and unpleasantries. I don't think it should have come to us. I think it should have been, well, handled better, in other words.
I think it was named actually.
I couldn't see a name on it.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't him.
No, it wasn't. Robert Briggs is now in hospital, by the way, suffering the
Mention it.
I've already mentioned it.
It's on a public document.
Yes. So.
Right,
Councillor.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Councillor Wilkie. Councillor Wilkie.
Yeah. Whether that should have or not should have come to, but you read it and you take your own opinion, don't you, whether you want to take any notice of it or not. That's my opinion with that. I came to that meeting with, whilst I'm sceptical, I still have an open mind about it, and you know, I do think that we as a council do need to jump on the back of this, which I think we were all in agreement. I still am very sceptical about Merlin Boroughs. What's in it for them? I still can't work out what is in it for them, because it didn't really answer that question. You know, if they're funding it themselves, why are they funding it themselves, and what are they going to get out of it? I suppose that matters not to us whether they get anything out of it or not, but I'm still a bit sceptical on them. Having said that, I think we do need to set something up which we discussed to look how we can capitalise on what might or might not come out of it. We just don't know, do we, whether it's going to take off or not. I don't think. I think we'd like to think it would. I think we need to be prepared.
Councillor Haxby and then Councillor Anthony.
Well, my thoughts mirror Kevin's to a great extent. But, and it's a big but, with nothing to lose and a hell of a lot to gain. There's nothing else in that bay that's come anywhere near it. The Americans are apparently quite excited about this now. There have been links opened up again with Maryland and the district commissioners and everybody else involved over there. Don Schmidt, who's the world's leading authority on shipwrecks and this sort of thing. There's chances of them coming over here and discussing it with us. And I say at the moment it's not going to cost us a penny. We're going to get a free publicity video out of it from Merlin Boroughs. But what we do need is somebody to advise us, because obviously it's way beyond our knowledge. And I would propose that we invite Tony Green, who seems to be the foremost authority in the town on it, to be the advisor. And perhaps we have a committee that runs forward with it, or even full council. You know, it's such an exciting project that I think most people want to be involved in it. It's probably one of the most exciting things that we could have in the town if it is proven. And even if it isn't, there is still that doubt, which a lot of Americans will run with. You know what they're like. And if we don't help our town to American tourists, then great. You know, as I said, it's not going to cost us a penny. at the moment. So why not run with it?
Councillor Anthony?
More or less on the lines of what Councillor Haxby was saying, that we haven't anything to lose, we're not putting any money into anything at the moment, all we do is making plans, looking at the best way that Farley can capitalise on this. Let's move ahead with that.
Councillor Holden-Banks?
As far as I'm aware, with regard to the FTA and the Chamber of Trade, there isn't actually a working group heading this as yet, which I think would be a good idea for actually Merlin or whoever they are to try and get someone together so they can present again, besides Mr Green, who I'm sure is very knowledgeable, but somebody from them who are actually the ones that are saying that they've possibly found the ship. We need a working party from an independent group to give us more information, I think. Do we have it?
Sorry, through you, Chair, did you miss the last meeting? I must have done so.
Right.
Well, we do a working group on that.
No, we agreed to get something.
Oh,
This is what we're deciding
marvellous.
now.
Okay, before I bring you in, Councillor Haxby, I'll bring the clerk in.
Just as a suggestion, maybe that from May I suggest that we generate a working party that is completely focused on this particular project, and that gives us the opportunity to bring in any relevant people from the town that we consider or they consider that would be interested and be able to help, and it would be a sort of a self-help group to just so that there is an entity there which can do things when are required.
Right, thank you. Councillor Haxby and then Councillor
Well, I agree, the two people from Northern Boroughs categorically said they've done their bit now. They've got other things to move on to. All the information was ours. We could do what we wanted with it. And Tony Green had their full support in writing if necessary, that he acted totally 100% for them. So I don't think he can ask for any more than that. And if we don't like it, at the end of the day, we can always walk away from it. There's no binding commitments, but I think we certainly need to start looking at it. Unfortunately, Mr Green's away in Madeira at the moment. But I think we ought to write him a letter asking him to be formally our advisor. I don't think you should just say, will you come to the ad hoc meeting, and I think it does need to be formalised, and then, as you say, you can go to groups like FTA and at least you've got a formal setup there.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Haxby. Councillor Rosenwood?
Well, I agree we need a dedicated working party. I think May is a bit late in putting it together. Given that this year, 2019, is a significant anniversary for the Bon Richard and the Battle of Flamborough Head. I really think sooner rather than later is the case. Even if come May when none of us are here, whatever. It's just a matter of, we need some ball rolling before May, in my view.
Well, can I suggest we actually, I'll put a proposal forward that we support this in principle, and that way you've got a way out if you support it in principle. If it starts costing a load of money for the council. Okay. At least you're up and off the ground that way. Councillor Wilkie.
Yeah, sorry, Chair. I don't think we're at that point yet. I don't think things like that have come from the working party and later on. But I think we just need to establish a working party, like Councillor Goodwin says, sooner rather than later. We can write a letter, as Councillor Haxby says, to Tony Green, invite FTA or whoever groups to be involved as well, and then we can move forward from there. I think any proposals of supporting principle in terms of finances and anything like that, we don't need to do that now. I think we can do that later on, if and when that time comes.
Fine.
That would be my thoughts, but what anybody else thinks.
Does anybody else wish to speak on that? Councillor Shackleton.
Wilkie, Chair, I don't see any point in doing in principle well with nothing to agree to at the moment, other than setting a working party up.
Okay. Councillor Woodman.
Can I make a suggestion then? We put forward a list of names to the clerk to ask to join the working party. I've got a name that I wish to put forward of a very interested party who would love to take something like this forward. I'll give you his name and I'll get his contact details. And if any other councillor has got anybody that they feel is with enough local history knowledge or whatever, they feel would be interested in joining a working party of a couple of councillors and Mr Green and any other body that we can think of, just to get the ball rolling. That's my suggestion.
Well, you've heard that suggestion.
Why not?
Perhaps the council formed its committee, or its working party within itself, and then that committee decided to write out and invite people to join. Because we need a basis of it.
You do.
To start with, and if it's 6 councillors, it's 6 councillors, great. If it's 12, it's even better.
Yes.
So I suggest now we decide who would like to be on it, and we have a meeting ASAP.
Exactly.
And then we can invite other people onto it.
Right.
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is everybody agreed on that one? Can you show things on that one, and then we know where we are?
Then we need the body to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll let you lead that one then, Councillor Buzman.
I did. Right, anybody else wants to be on that?
At this moment.
It depends what is the challenge for me.
You've got...
I've got 3 of them.
Councillor O'Kibble.
I'm Councillor Shack.
Yeah.
Councillor
Yeah.
I'll say yes. It depends what everybody wants the times of the meetings. If it's daytime, then
You've had it.
I'll do the best.
Evening's the time for me.
Okay. Okay. Right, is everybody happy with that? Right, thank you for that. We'll move on now. Number 12 on the agenda. The Cobble replica. I hope you have all had an opportunity to read the proposal from SBS, see it should be, regarding the Cobble replica. I open the item for comment and a resolution. Who wants to speak on this first? Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, it's a question really, Chair, for Councillor Cottrell.
Yes, just before you go any further, because Councillor Cottrell will be asked a few questions on this, I will at this point I will move standing order 3E and adjourn the meeting to allow Councillor Cottrell to speak if needed. Okay, right, Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, Mike, you know, at the last meeting at the council, we did a figure of 19,000. At that time, but you said you would still be looking for other funding.
Yeah.
Are you still actively looking for other funding?
Yes.
You are?
Yeah.
Has any more funding coming? Other than what was being informed?
I have a conditional offer, and I can't go into it because it's conditional.
Right, okay. But you are still actively looking for it?
Yeah.
Any other members wish to speak on this? Councillor Wilkie first and then Councillor Haxley.
Just a few things that I want to comment on and just a bit of clarification if I could on the document. Mainly centering around the maintenance block and things like the ownership and things like that. It seems, reading from this, and I might be wrong, that by the town council wouldn't really have any say in whether it gets taken away. If it does end up in a state of disrepair, Scarborough Council have added, am I right in thinking they're the owners and fully responsible for it?
Yeah.
But yet the maintenance figure is part of
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
So in effect, one of us is paying for the maintenance, which is included, which is 3,000.
Yeah.
So whilst I'm all for the thing, and I want it to go ahead,
So
I'm just a bit concerned about it. So
I think that's, if I can jump in,
Yeah.
it's a fair point you're raising,
Yeah.
Kevin, and I think it would be quite appropriate for some agreement, or if the town council wants to write to the borough council saying that in the event of it being considered for disposal or whatever, that the town council must be consulted.
yeah.
I think that's only right.
No, the thing that, yeah, so if that can be written in, that would be good.
I mean, having said that, because of the material that's being built in and such, and maintained, one would hope that it would be a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the aim, isn't
Yeah.
it? You know, I don't think we're going to get to that point.
Yeah, but it's sensible to have that safeguard.
I'm just giving the track record of the
I
maintenance.
fully understand,
they own.
and in actual fact, that is one reason why I've insisted about some maintenance fund.
You know, if we're sort of pledging 90 for it ends with me. Now, the maintenance fund, 3,000, that's over 10 years, is it?
Yeah.
So is the material that's going to be made out of similar to the condition and angle?
Similar to that.
Right, okay.
And basically, the idea is that if we get a water wash,
Some protection.
you know, once a year, and then that, I forget what we call the stuff that it was, like the lacquer that was put on.
Yeah, something on it, isn't it? Yeah.
To put that on,
Right, okay.
you know, it should be minimal.
Right, good. Okay, well, if that can... and I was surprised it's going to be on wheels. I had an idea it was going to be on Flintstone, unmovable. How does that sit with, like, security? That's going to be totally away with the Tintin Ninja.
No, I mean, it was a debate, and going back to when we were looking at a wooden one, then the idea was to have it on the But then, really, to allow flexibility, and because we still don't know about the light bulb, if it does have to be moved, similarly, you know, for bad weather, for operations for salmon fishermen, you know, whatever. I just thought it makes sense, and also, in my opinion, it's more the traditional look of the cobble line, which was really the deciding factor.
I do have to say as well, I'm disappointed that one of our ward councillors isn't supporting the scheme as well.
I've heard it's two.
Oh, it's two.
Yeah.
Emails have been sent. What I said, you'd have to read the
Yeah, so that's disappointing. Whatever.
It's gone off then.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Wilkie. You see now, after that, it's Councillor Haxby.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the November meeting when it was discussed, unfortunately, but I'm a bit upset at this decision. Usually we agree in principle to things knowing what we're agreeing to. Plans, costs, etc., etc. This council pledged up to 19,000, not 19,000, it was up to 19,000, without knowing what they were pledging, really. We have here a picture of a cobble that was drawn in 1995, which is a picture of a traditional wooden cobble. Now, am I assured that this will be exactly how the steel boat will look? Because I'm not sure that you can get these graceful lines and clinker-built effect of a cobble out of steel. If you can, fair enough, but I'm not sure you can. And I'd hate to see the notice board telling the public what it was, when it says if you can imagine it made out of wood, if you can imagine the steel is gracefully lined and it's clinker built, then it's a fine cobble. That would be stupid. If it doesn't look exactly like a fine cobble, well, then you might as well pack it in. It's got to look identical to that cobble. Clinker built, graceful lines, which is what a fine cobble is all about. I was on the Cole Landing this morning at 4 o'clock, and there are quite a few fishermen down there who think it's a joke, and Barry will back me up on this. They say they can get a traditional wooden cobble for £1. If the borough of care to look around, they could buy an old cobble which would last 10 years for £1. Was that said, Barry?
Yeah, it was.
It was. And these are fishermen, look. You know what I mean? It's £30,000 is a lot of money. Now this council is investing at least, well, up to 19,000. Will we have sight of the tenders? Will we be involved in the tender process? Will we know what's happening? Because again, one of the fishermen told us that a local steel fabricator in Filey already has full details of the contract, full details of the costs, full design drawings, etc., etc. Now in a competitive tendering process, is this fair? I don't know. I asked the question, but that was said this morning as well. You know, we've got playgrounds that are falling into disrepair. We've got children that need facilities. We've got a skateboard park that needs building. We need to attract young doctors, young teachers to help our schools, to help the problem at the surgery. And here we are throwing 30,000 into a boat at the bottom of Cobble Landing, which is all very nice if the money's available. Don't get me wrong, I think it's brilliant if we have the money. But is it the right place to put £30,000? Because who's it going to attract? People in Leeds aren't going to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning and go, oh, I'm going to go to Filey to look at that bit of rust on the cobble landing that's supposed to be a cobble. It's hardly the Angel of the North or the concrete cans at Milton Keynes. You know, yeah, it will attract people, but I don't see a lot of the cobble landing traders dipping into their pockets and putting the money into it. And they're the ones that will benefit the most. You know, as Barry says, that 30 grand will even go toward keeping the toilets open in winter. Is that a better way to spend it? I don't know, I just put it to you, I'm against it.
Right, Councillor Wilkins.
Just going back to what Councillor Ashley was saying about getting the wooden cobble for £1 or whatever it is. I was under the impression we've got to this point because we couldn't get the wooden.
Because they haven't looked down enough.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor.
This came from Matthew Wilkins this morning.
Councillor Haxton, can you just, please?
Sorry.
Can I just say that Councillor Wilkins was just before you?
Sorry.
All right. Okay. Councillor Anthony.
I lost my address now. I think it's okay saying get a wooden cobble, but what would the maintenance be on a wooden cobble? You know the state that, you know, the Margaret and the Beth got into. Keeping up to something like that would be a lot more problematic than having a steel structure that's going to weather. And the other thing about it, when people say, oh, we could put this 30,000 into something else, we could, but we never do. You know, if we were going to put it towards the skate park, which by the way we've got enough, quite a bit of money invested in that already in the budget, it's not like we would spend it on anything else. I'd be quite happy to see it on going something for the kids, but we don't do that.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor Holden Banks.
Just in agreement with Councillor Anthony, although I do take on board what Councillor Haxby has said, if it's £1 for a cobble, then I find that to be quite, maybe you can get a cobble for £1, but there's the maintenance of it, the care of it, the insurance of it, the treating of the wood of it. Again, you'd have to have where you're putting it. I don't think it's as black and white as that. And 30,000 isn't all Filey money, is it? Because there's 5,000 from somewhere else, there's 1,000 from county council, there's 5,000 from community funds. We have pledged up to 19,000. It's not saying we're going to give the whole 19,000. We don't know what Councillor Cockle can get any differently. I understand that some of the reserves that Councillor Haxby has suggested, but at the end of the day, it is heritage, and it is Filey heritage, and I feel that it's important that we do put money into everything that we possibly can, and we can't put money into everything and everywhere. And as Councillor has already said that there is money put aside within the budget for the skate park, which as far as I'm aware has been going on for over 2 years, so why that hasn't got any further is beyond me. And we have money put aside for other projects that don't come to fruition, like the top school gym, and that hasn't come for other reasons as well. This is something attainable, it is to be seen and it's there. And, you know, we do have money that we can place on things, and if anybody else suggests it should sit somewhere else than, rather than where, I don't know if this is actually allocated, if you've all got one of these to see. Well, it will be there. I understand and agree with you, Councillor Wilkie, that I thought it was going to be static, but obviously on wheels, I'm sure it must be positioned safely when it isn't on wheels. I thought we voted for this, so I thought it was already voted and agreed that we would pay whatever, so I appreciate the debate.
Yes. Yes, it has been. Councillor Hatchley.
Yeah, it was up to 19,000.
Yeah.
It could be a pound.
Yes.
The skateboard park, as I understand, is being stalled by the borough's estate office, not giving permission for land yet, or sorting the land ownership out. Is that right? That's what Jeff last told me. But I stand to be corrected, that's all. So, you know, there's some undue haste about this. You know, it's going through too quickly for my liking. And perhaps there's elections in May and it might look nice on election manifestos, I don't know. It's my usual scepticism, but...
I think that's insulting.
If we're putting £19,000 into this, then I think we need a greater input and responsibility, Kevin said. As I say, it's been pushed through unduly hastily, in my opinion.
Right, Councillor Cockrell, you are open, completely open to speak.
If anybody's got any
I said that before.
Yeah, if anybody's got any questions, I'll attempt to answer them.
Are there any questions for Councillor Cockrell with his project? He's leading the project, I'll put it that way. Any questions? Councillor Busselman.
Excuse me, Chair. As far as I'm aware, this item is on the agenda to approve this recommendation that's come through on an email, not to the fact that we've already pledged this up to £19,000. That's a done decision. We did that at a meeting I wasn't even at, so even I reckon in it that we'd agreed it. We're here to approve or recommend this document that's come through from the borough. And that's the only thing that's in my mind that's up for discussion.
Thank you for that. And because that was minuted, you cannot revoke that minute for 6 months. You have to wait 6 months before you can revoke that minute. So, and that will be up to, by then, that will be up to the new council, whoever they are. Councillor Wilkie.
Yeah, my view is we can't, in my view, I can't support this document as it stands because of the queries that I've had in terms of our input. That this document doesn't give us a say in whether it can be removed or not, if it does get to them. So I can't support that document until that's written in. But we've got a revised document to come back to us at some point.
Councillor Cockrell first, and then Councillor Holden Banks.
Taking that on board, if the town council wish to write that as a condition of approving that document, that can be incorporated. No problem whatsoever.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cockrell. Councillor Holden Banks.
Well, I was just going to pick up where Councillor Wilkie left off, but Councillor Cockrell has answered that it can be rectified, so that's fine. Thank you.
Right. Thank you for that. Councillor Busselman.
Can I propose then that we ask the Councillor Wilkie's amendment to be put into this document and we accept it?
Yeah.
Can I just come back and say one more thing? I mean, all this, I suppose, hinges on whether the tenders come back at the right price as well.
Nothing to do with it, is it?
Right, I just
Well,
think
no,
the clerk.
if it comes back at £40,000,
Can we just, hold on a minute, I'll just bring in the clerk now, because he's got something to say on this.
May I suggest that following up on what Councillor Haxley said and what Councillor Wilkie said, that we put in, that we approve and put on the rider that we are given a say as to the disposal or whatever of this piece of equipment or not, and that also that we are part of the consultation with respect to the cost, the design, the time span, etc., so that we, as we are effectively the majority shareholder of it, we do get a say as to what, where and how and when it happens, so that we, you know, if it is outside of our, what we consider to be appropriate, we at least have our say as to our concerns, if there is any.
Councillor Anthony.
I don't like the word consultation. I think it should be more that it's not removed from Filey without the agreement of Filey Town Council. If it is a cobble to represent Filey, then it should stay in Filey. Why else would it leave? What, you know, if it was...
It wouldn't.
It was only leaving if it was falling to bits.
If it was
falling to bits, then it would be...
But then Filey Town Council would probably want to give it...
They'd have to put the bill.
I think consultation is a word that I shy away from a bit in this context.
Right, do you want to say anything else, Councillor
I was going to say, it's taking on board some of the clerk's thoughts there. I will, you know, assure you that as the project progresses, that at each stage I will come back and inform the town council, and if there are any drawings, you know, provide and show them at the council meeting. Because I want it to be right. I don't want it to be made and then, oh, that doesn't look anything like it. So I will assure you I will come back whenever I have any new information or new plans or whatever and report to the town council.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor Haxton.
Yeah, I mean, I accept that this is going through and that's democracy, but to help the council, I agree with Councillor Anthony that consultation is such a nebulous word that the borough often uses it to its advantage. Consultation merely means talking to somebody. And we heard today of the futurists what their consultation means. So I would agree that we need to approve the plans as it is going to be built prior to making any money available. Just to safeguard us from, as Councillor Cockrell said, it not looking right.
Right, thank you for
And
that.
I can't see any problem with that.
Thank you for that, Councillor Haxton. Councillor Wilkie.
Yeah, I was along the same lines. I was just thinking then, what safeguards have we got if we get halfway through and we don't like it, or it turns up and we don't like it? But if that's what we can do, then I'll be a bit happier with that.
Councillor Shackleton.
I'd just like to agree with Councillor Haxton and Councillor Wilkie. You know, we could end up being the major stakeholders in this cobble. So, you know, it's only right that we have consulted, spoken with and shown everything as the plan was on. Councillor Cockrell has already stated it, that's correct. But we need to be able to say no if we don't think it's right.
Yes. Yeah. Councillor Cockrell.
Yeah, one last thing, the sketch that was included in the paper, that is what has gone out to the various companies for quotes, and this has been stressed, taking that as a traditional filing cobble, because, you know, no two are the same, they're all different. That is the basis, the design, with the streamlined lines that has got to be built, and that's what everybody's got to quote on, got to be designed on, and then for us to have the drawings, and then for me to come along and show them to you. So it will definitely be a traditional filing cobble, otherwise it would be a total waste of time.
Well, it would. Definitely. Are there any more
It
questions?
certainly won't be a modern art representation.
Is there any more questions, please, for Councillor Cockrell? No? No? Well, we've got to come to a decision on this. Have we a member of the council to propose anything? Councillor Rosenbaum?
I'll propose all that we've just
I'll
discussed.
I'll
As you discussed, yes, that Councillor Cockrell will keep us informed regarding as we go forward with it and what council, approval. You know, what we've got.
Yes. Have we got a second for that?
You could, as long as it's proposed that it's accepted and we will pledge 19,000 up to 19,000, subject to A, the document being to our agreement, B, the town council agreeing the plans, and C, having a say in everything.
Okay. You're happy with that? Yeah. Right. Can I have a show of hands then for that? We've got a proposal and a seconder. Everybody. Okay. Thank you for that, Councillor Cockrell. I will now end the adjournment and only members of the council may speak. Right, we'll move on now to 13, dog warden. I hope you have all had an opportunity to read the brief response from SPC regarding the addition of dog warden. Could I open the item for discussion and a resolution? Was it Councillor Anthony that brought that up first?
The only query I've got with this, and I did try and sort this out with the clerk and with Harry, that if you take away the part-time that would be totally invalid, would we still get a share of the 1.5 that was left? Otherwise we're paying for something and we're not getting the full. And we couldn't seem to get Harry to grasp that.
He couldn't grasp it, but what I said before Christmas was that if there was an agreement in principle on the whole thing and we're going to go forward, then we could start getting into the nitty-gritty.
Well, that's a big part of the nitty-gritty, that we don't want to be losing out.
Yes.
And thing. I just want to say that there's a note at the bottom here that says there are comments from SPC regarding previous trials that have occurred in other parishes and have not seen a reduction of dog mess. And I think it's all down to how this warden would work with the public. And there's a lot of things that we can do, like the big dog in the dealer, and I don't want people spying on each other, but there are a lot of names in town that we know about that are repeat offenders and are not challenged, are never challenged. Yeah. And they need keeping an eye on, and this is an ideal opportunity for those people to be caught and brought to book. I'm a great believer in naming and shaming. Unfortunately, Harry, when we talked to Harry about this, he said that that wasn't something they like to do. But I was looking at what Councillor Bill Chap was saying on some programme the other day, that he totally believes in naming and shaming, so if it's good enough for the borough, it's good enough for us. On-the-spot fines, it's all there. It's how we work with this warden to get the job done. And I think there's sort of a lack of will in Filer to tackle this problem. If you go on the media sites, if you go on social media, people are complaining about it constantly. The road up to school is appalling. Kids are treading in it and treading it into school. It's on the Crescent Garden now. I've noticed an increase. We have got to show willing to tackle this problem. It's a big problem, and it needs us as a council to do something.
Councillor Shackleton.
I'd just like to ask the clerk, how many hours do we get now? Per week?
Not a lot.
That's something else we need to do.
It's something like so. It's in the region of 4. Yeah. It's a quarter and a half. Well,
we're not getting our quota then, really, are we?
No.
So that wants addressing.
Sorry, tell a lie, it's slightly more than that. I think it goes between 4 and 8 depending upon where they're going.
4 hours in the van or 8 hours if you walk.
Yeah.
So it's 4 hours in the van,
Councillor Anthony.
Something I forgot to mention, I can't understand why in Filey you would actually need a van. What we need is somebody on foot. Filey's a small place, it's enough to walk round. If you ever see a van coming, you know, who's going to let...
Well, they have actually been known to hide the van and go out on foot.
Yeah, but we're paying,
I've seen them.
how much would we pay £4,000 a year for a van that you don't actually need in Filey? Apart from getting to and from Filey, if you're not from here.
Councillor Holden Banks.
I agree with Councillor Anthony about the van. I'm not quite sure why we would need that. And this piece at the bottom from the presence of an officer will no way guarantee was. I don't know if this was written before they could find on the spot, because I'm sure if you're fined on the spot for dog fouling, it's going to make some difference. Because once 1 or 2 people get fined for having the dog fouling, then you know it is going to get round. As this piece of information that's here, comments from Scarborough Council, I'm not sure you would know the answer. Haven't been so successful in the parishes. I mean, it's a new thing to be able to find the spot, but not previously they had to go to court for it, so just even trying to get them to court was one thing. Now they can find them immediately. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought you were on to something.
No, you're right, you can find them on the spot, but the difficulty is actually finding them on the spot and having all of the proof that you require to do that.
Yeah.
So the difficult being would actually watching the dog.
You have to see everything, the full motion, as it were,
Right.
of everything.
Yes, Councillor Roderick.
What I was just going to say regarding that, if you're getting into a mobile phone, get it as a video, because they will not accept the evidence if it's still, because it doesn't always, as you rightly point out, I went to like this book that day, the actual moment of when it does it, you see. But if you do get it on, if you can get it on a video, that will be accepted as evidence. That's already gone. It was something that happened that the only reason I know that is because of it chased it on, ask yourself what they would say. Right, is that right? This is what they said. We don't show it counter cooperative, is that right? Because that's what they told me in Barbara.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Roderick. Councillor Wilkie and then Councillor Holden Banks.
I'm glad you saw me take that from me, Andy.
I have to down there.
Yeah, I would agree with it about the vehicle costs. They've got the vehicle anyway. You know, surely they're not going to charge us pro rata for just to come into Filey with a vehicle. Is that the proposal?
Through your chair. I assume it's to do with petrol and maintenance and
Leasing
and all
costs.
that, leasing,
Yeah, but they have that already, don't they? It's not a separate, it's
yeah,
not
but
extra.
not for that part of the time.
Yeah.
So this is for the
Split
extra
up, presumably it would be
costs.
£8,000 a year.
Right. And secondly, I was just wondering about, and you probably can't answer this or not discussed it yet, but, you know, if they come at the same time every week on the same days, the people will just get things up. So that's one thing, isn't it? People get wise to where and where's for, so I don't know.
Through you, Chair, it says that they will do a shift pattern, so they would be quite flexible
Different
in
times,
different
yeah.
times.
The element of surprise, as it were.
Yeah.
And the comment at the bottom, I mean, you could say that about anything in life, couldn't you? Where you could do it, but you might not. Nothing might happen, but if we don't do anything at all, nothing will happen, will it?
No, you're right, yeah. Well, I know two people that have been reported to the dog warden, and that is going further. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say on that bit. Councillor Wilkie.
Sorry, can I come back? Does the dog warden have to be qualified in anything, or because you need a strong person, don't you, to challenge the public, and that is.
I don't think that's the point of this though, is it? That's not what, that's somebody employing to do that, that's not what we're discussing. Like I say, he's capable of doing secretarial role that will pay them to be
I'm just asking if a dog warden has to be qualified.
I thought you have to be a strong person,
Well,
meaning
you
you have
do,
the
don't you?
personage.
And answer that, yes, they do have to be qualified in terms of they are given specific legal training with
That's- yeah,
respect
that's
to
Yeah, yeah.
what they were doing, how they go about doing
Yeah.
it,
I
etc.
can understand
That's
that.
more what
Yeah.
I'm getting at, really.
Yes.
Right, Councillor Shackleton and then Councillor Holden Banks.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm just interested to know if this council does go with spending this amount of money that's going to China. Obviously, I made that quite clear where I stand on that matter. I'm just wondering that if we are employing this officer, where does the fine money go? Will it come to Farley Town Council? We are employing this person, basically, aren't we?
That needs...
Not that I'm saying there will be any fine,
No.
because it's rather
No.
difficult to get.
No, but if there is, where does the kind of money go? And I quite agree with you on that one, and I think we should ask about that, to be honest.
I mean, if he's a great man or woman, and he's going to earn us over £12,000 a year in fines, well, I'm quite happy bringing it on. You know,
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be unproductive.
Yeah. Yes. Okay then? Yes, Councillor Holden Banks.
Thank you. As with what Councillor Shackleton has just said there, I think the fine thing was a very good point, and I think it's something that should be actually looked into. I would also like to ask, do we actually pay for the person on the seafront in the summer? The harbour person that we have down there, that we need to track around. What's that? Yes, I do. Do we pay that? We contribute to that, but we don't actually pay the full, like we're presuming to do now with this. So we just contribute towards that. So this is a full-time position? No. Part-time position at 12. Oh, I'm part-time, I'm on a full-time on the year. Sorry, I got that, I was supposed to say on a full-time, 1 year basis.
Yeah, but part-time in Friday.
Oh. Might be the half-time.
Have you anything else to say?
No, I'm sorry, no, I haven't, I'm good, thanks very
Then you don't
much.
hold it to yourselves.
Yep.
Councillor...
Sorry, Chair. So, what powers does the dog warden have? We talked about catching them actually involved in... What do they have? Obviously on the spot fines and...
Well, the same powers that, so you Chair, the same powers that they have now.
Yeah, which
To be able to issue spot fines.
And is that the way that they generally go?
Well,
Issuing a spot fine or...
cases are not going to court now. The courts apparently
Right,
don't
okay.
want them.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
that's
So
why.
a spot fine
Yeah.
is what they're giving.
And these want, any spot fines or any court cases that goes into court, they want naming and shaming, which you can do once they've been in court and the spot fine's been placed. So, Councillor Anthony?
I was just explaining to Councillor Holden about how much they actually got.
I'm
to pay.
thinking, blooming heck, it's right. Part-time here for 12, and the 12 in Scarborough, 24 grand for a dog warden a month. She's explaining it, I'm thinking, oh, I need a new...
Why are you thinking about doing that?
Well, it's very grateful.
Right, Councillor...
One more thing, sorry, I just keep thinking things after.
I know you do.
Do we, and I don't suppose we do we know what currently spot fines they actually dish out
I don't
over the borough?
How many?
I don't know, that's something we'd have to find out as well.
What I'm saying is, if it's not effective anywhere else, is it going to be effective here? Just wondering if there's a benchmark that we could...
Through you, Chair. Can I just say, that's why I think we need a dog warden that is going to work with the community.
Yeah,
and there's
absolutely.
plenty of people out there that really want to get this problem sorted out.
Yeah.
We've got eyes out there who want to help and want to get this problem sorted. So it's not just a case of sending any old person out there. We need someone who's dedicated to getting in there and sorting out the problem.
Councillor Haxby.
I think another valid question as well is, are we expected to pay his on costs? Which can run at 25 to 50%.
Sorry, I missed that.
On costs,
On cost.
which is all the admin, the staffing, the wages, the payroll, and everything else. It's not just his hourly rate then.
Yeah.
How much on cost is included?
Councillor Axley, the clerk has some information.
The information we initially received from Harry was that, Harry Briggs, is that the existing on costs of the dog wardens would still be carried on, and there would be no, we wouldn't receive a portion of that for that person, but because it's an additional hour, it's additional half a person effectively that they're employing.
See, I've got this difficulty which we've got all along is this double rating which has already been mentioned tonight. You know, we're not only paying for the warden for patrol Scarborough through our council tax, as are the people in Scarborough, but we're also paying for him to patrol Filey, which the people of Scarborough does. You know, it's total double rating all along the line. And I'm afraid there's no way out of it, and as long as we keep doing it, the borough will keep pushing it on.
Don't forget Scarborough isn't parish.
Of course they're not parish because they're paying less than they would have to. If they had to pay for their own bills.
Exactly.
They won't have parish.
You know, we're paying for this dog warden in effect. For 5 days. Because all our council tax is going to pay him, whether he's in Scarborough or Filey. Plus we're paying him an additional 12,000 to come to Filey 2.5 days a week. You know, it's just daylight robbery.
Right. Councillor Anthony.
Can I make a proposal, and let's
Yes.
get this over with, that we go ahead with this scheme and that subject to the things we've discussed about who receives the money and if that is also, and the extra hours, subject to that being satisfactory, that we take on a year's trial.
Have we got a second of that? Councillor Holdenbach? Have we got an amendment? No? In that case, can we have a vote on that, please? All those in favour, please show. All those against? Kevin Shea.
So that's Mr. Chairman. Things like this normally go to finance to identify where the money's coming from. Where are we going to get the money from? It's never been discussed. You can't just give 12,000, you've got to know where it's coming from.
That would be our job to find that.
It would. It would.
It's never been mentioned.
It's solid point, but
Yeah.
it's good to find.
It would. Yes. Okay. Well, that was actually passed. 3, 1, 2, 3.
No,
6 of us. 6 of us. Yes, because I counted round. There was those that was against it was John Axby, Councillor Axby, Councillor Shackleton, Councillor Thurston, sorry. I'm not used to his sitting there. Nobody else. Right, Councillor Wilkie actually didn't vote. He abstained. So I voted yes. Councillor Bosworth.
I abstained.
You abstained as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, you're hands up again.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got enough info on how much input we'd have into this gentleman to make a decision, really. I think we need a lot more than this.
Well, do we not need
half
to
a paragraph.
amend that again then, don't we? I don't
You've
even know how
already
many
voted on
votes.
it.
All right.
Sorry, but you've already voted on it.
So what will the start on the dolls?
You can't keep jumping back from a
No, I'm for it, mate. I was just confused about it from what.
We didn't know how many did and how many didn't.
I did.
You did.
You did.
You did. Councillor Roderick, you voted for it.
I was.
And I did.
And you did.
Right then, that's false. Well, let's count them.
There you go. Against
2
1, 2,
abstentions.
I took
3, and 2 abstained. Got you. All right. But we cannot keep jumping backwards and forwards. Once you've voted for something, that is it. I'm sorry. That is it for 6 months before you can rescind that minute. I'm sorry, but that's how it works. Okay.
We've got to go to finance.
Yeah, we'll have to go to finance to find that money for that. Okay? Right, can we move on now, please? We come on to public conveniences. Item requested by Councillor Roderick. Councillor Roderick, do you wish to propose a resolution?
I'd like some further discussion on it, if possible. The reason is, and I didn't know you were coming tonight, but I know what you've said to somebody else. It's been a nightmare. Largely, this is a side issue about them not being open. But the other complaint has been regarding the condition of them. And people have been saying, these are disgusting. I thought fire was supposed to be so nice, blah, blah, blah. Then they want to know where they are and unhold the locks. It's not funny. There was a discussion before I came onto this council regarding whether or not we should adopt the toilet from the Scarborough, and there seems to be some, well, intimations that we were sorry were being robbed, or whatever it was, I don't know. I propose that we do look at this in all seriousness again, yeah? That we look at as many ways of financing this as we can, because I don't like spending money being a Yorkshire money was against the grain, if you like. If there are ways that could be found to finance it, other than us having to chuck a wad at it, I'd be all for that. But ultimately, it is going to come down to cost. We know how much Scarborough has offered. Does not appear, although not stingy, is not being over generous. Perhaps we should consider committing something towards this for the next few years, rather than just abandon this to its fate, because it is not good for Farley. We're a resort town, and the toilets sometimes are awful, and I'm a great believer in local control, rather than control from Scarborough, or anywhere else for that matter. It has become a bit of a hot potato, this, largely because people are grumbling, and rightly so, it is on the state of some of them. It's there, it's to decide what you think is appropriate, how you think we should move forward. Should we look at it again? What should we do?
Councillor Wilkie.
I think a lot of the points that, and some that we've been criticised for, that we don't care about the toilets. We do care about the toilets as a council, and we want to keep them open for all the visitors. I don't think there's any dispute about that.
No, there isn't. Not from our side.
Can you just let one speaker finish, and then you can have your turn to reply.
The condition of the toilets is one of the main sticking points for me about why I would want to take them on. The buildings are in such a state of disrepair, and that's down to Scarborough Council over the years, that the measly, what was it, about 5,000 per toilet, wouldn't even cover the basic, maintenance, just to get them up to standard. Not only that, all the usage figures that we've got, the maintenance figures that we've got, whilst they were wildly to me inaccurate, well, they weren't inaccurate, they were the figures that we've got. So we did look into quite a lot of ways to fund them with an external company. And I think, for me personally, I think to find a way to work out how we can afford to run the toilets, but it's just the state of the buildings in the first place that was a big sticking point for me. And getting them up to scratch, for long-term use. So yes, they are disgusting, and that is one of the main reasons why I don't want to take them off, because it's got so much money to get into a position where long term we want to keep them, and we wouldn't want to take on all those toilets and then have to close too, because that's probably what would happen.
Right, thank you. I'll just tell you now that no further information whatsoever has been received by FTC regarding the closure of any public conveniences in Filey. Also, no changes have been received as to the previous unacceptable offer from SPC. So, there we go. The next one to speak is Councillor Haxby.
Yeah, we've done this to death for several years now. I don't know how many hours we've spent in this chamber debating this. Kevin's quite right, we were offered £5,000 per toilet. There's only two in the town that come anywhere near decent. One's the one at the bottom of Cargate Hill, and probably the Everon Centre is the other, which is relatively new. The others are in a disgusting condition. And let's not forget, when the borough gave us those figures, was over 3 years ago. If anybody's been up to the country park toilets and had a look at them, if you've been to the New Sea Wall toilets and had a look at them, they are absolutely disgusting. The Cobble Landing toilets stink, they are awful, they are not fit for purpose, and we're expected to spend £5,000 bringing them up to modern day standards.
Bringing one? Each?
Like, yes, I mean Victorian engineering. It would take you £5,000 just to replace the sockets on the one up there, which have asbestos in them. It needs a new floor, it needs whole new plumbing, etc., etc. We've done it all to death. The figures have been there. We've proved that we cannot afford to do it, even charging 40p a pee. Who on earth's going to pay that? It's going to put people off coming to the town. You've had the problems in Scarborough with the Vincent Pier, and they've just spent £100,000 on them to put some showers in for a few yachties. You know, the best toilets in the town are at the bottom of Cargate Hill, and these are the ones they should. These should be the model toilets that are kept open 12 months a year, that people from both ends can converge on if necessary. If they do have to shoot one at the foul wall. Let's not keep that open all winter. But, you know, I mean, can I ask the clerk what the latest absolute figures were from the borough?
I received that when I came back from holiday. The latest is exactly the same as it was previously. As you said, it's 5,000 per toilet plus £25,000 as a one-off
20,000 as a one-off payment.
As a one-off payment. So there is, to do the 6 toilets effectively, there is £50,000.
And just to inform Councillor Roderick, the surveys the borough have done were open to question, as Councillor Wilkie has alluded to. The figures that they gave us were open to question. They gave us a footfall, which they said they'd got from some contractor, and the contractor said it was the borough that did the footfall figure. So neither the borough nor the contractor could agree over who counted the people in. They couldn't get the water supplies right, they couldn't get the electricity supplies right. Every figure we've got was open to question, and we asked and queried them, did we not? And they couldn't give us the right answers. These are the figures we've got, and these are the ones we've given you, run with it. For shutting the toilets down every year, costing, say, 500 quid one year, 700 the next, 300 the year after that, just for turning the stopcock on and locking the door. You know, the figures are absolutely ridiculous. To send a chap out to repair a tap, £150 or something like that. The figures were absolutely astronomical. You know, these are the problems we're up against, and I say we've done it to death. But I mean, if you want to get updated figures from the borough, yeah. But I think you did the same one.
Go on then, Councillor Roderick.
In the light of what you just said, how is it that this is the same deal as us and everybody else? According to Scarborough Council, everybody got the same deal. Everybody took it here. Yes. We wanted more money, and I sat in that meeting actually, I heard this last year.
Can I respond that Whitby Town Council took on a brand new set of toilets, whose footfall through them is probably 10 times plus anything that we would get. Well, it's more, to be honest, on the parade day. So the money they're going to get for that is obviously far more than we would ever get.
I have been before.
Yes, and
Not a dish, let's get this.
Let's get this,
Can I just finish that there were parish councils that refused to take them on.
Exactly.
So it's not right to say that everybody else took them on, they didn't.
Because Councillor Roderick brought this forward, right, she has the right to reply to councillors that actually ask questions. And this is why I'm letting her do this. Otherwise, she knows I wouldn't let her.
You mean you'd have to shut it up, you can't probably...
Oh, you can.
No, I'm not. I don't think that we really need to... I don't know the way out of this one, and I agree that it is a sticky wicket. The toilets are disgusting. People complain about them all summer. Anybody who's got a business, you for example, you'll hear this, you'll hear a whinge, and they can't. And then you're walking up and down, these toilets are disgusting. It is a shame that we cannot come to some arrangement whereby we can improve both the state of the toilet and one of the big things to me is the cleaning and maintenance thereof, because I think this is where it's seriously falling down. They are in a brilliant condition, I accept that. It's how can we improve for our visitors and for our residents the amount of lungs that there is on the front. Now, I'll point something out to you. Is it something in the region of about 40% now are over the age of 65 in this town? I've got news for you. We tend to go more than younger end. You get families with kids, they go more than young adults. And these are people who come here for a holiday. Now I think we've got a duty to try and provide them, one way or another, with proper facilities, rather than nipping behind the bush, which seems to be the alternative for quite a few of them in recent years. And that is all I have to say. I think it is all right saying we need this and we need that. What we I feel should put something into this in order to actually get better facilities to visitors. It is poor. It's shocking. And while we deliberate and argue about it, nothing's going to get done. I rest my case on that one.
I think she's done, Chair.
Are you, anything else to say, Councillor Roderick, at this
No,
moment?
not at the moment. No, I'm waiting to see what feedback there is from the council.
Councillor Shackleton.
Thank you, Chair.
And then Councillor
With his hand in
Quite patient, right?
Quite patient, yes.
Right, yeah, well, firstly, I agree with what Councillor Hatsby and obviously Councillor Wilkie have stated. My view on it, we simply can't afford to take these toilets on. On the SPC figures, which are extremely dubious, it would cost this council up to £70,000 a year to run these toilets. Now, members here may not realise that that would be half our budget. So, you know, it's not going to leave anything for anybody else. We've just been discussing finance has to find 12,000 for the dog walk. Where's that going to come from? 28,000 up to, for the skate park, 8,000 and above for the little bus, decorative lighting, all the other schemes, grants. You know, where is the money going to come from?
Exactly.
As I said many months ago, it would be a drain on this council's resources. And yes, I agree that they are in a terrible condition. But if people complain about them, you know, don't complain to us. Drop an email into SPC and tell them what they think about the damn toilets in Pilot. And shame them. That's it. You know, talk for hours on these toilets as all members in this.
Right, thank you for that.
Yes, I'll do that.
Councillor Alderman Banks.
Thank you. Although I take on board all what everybody said about the toilets and agree on par with how badly Derby did look after them, I do feel that we have an opportunity to take these toilets on a 99-year lease, to take control of them and have them in a manner that hopefully we could afford to, although taking on board what Councillor Shackleton says it's going to cost 70,000, but, you know, can we actually look at that again? I mean, we're doing a new budget this year. We can, you know, look at budgeting again for 2019, 2020.
Well, what I said, Councillor Alderman Banks, is where's the money going to come from? if it's going to cost £70,000 in the first year, that is half our budget. So
In fact, are we sure it's going to cost £70,000 though? Is that an absolute...
That was working on SPC's dubious figures, which...
Right, so dubious figures, which I understand is difficult, you can't really... Yeah, well, it could be 50, you know, it could be either way, you know, nobody knows. Sorry, I missed that, you see. Oh, right, sorry. No, I'm good. It's because you said it.
Well, we can hear what's being said.
Yeah, I didn't quite get it myself, so you can't hear it.
I heard it.
Oh, did you?
I heard it, and I've got a bad ear.
Yeah, I'm going to, anyway, I'm deferred. So what I'd like to say is that, as you all know, I am for taking the toilets on. On reflection of what Barry said earlier on at the beginning, I appreciate everybody's issues with the toilets, and it isn't just for holiday makers, it's for locals all year round. We are a seaside resort of the town, and I do feel it's one of the facilities that we should offer. Even if we don't take them on, as people have said that Scarborough may or may not close, and we do not know what Scarborough will do. If we have control of them, we know what we can do with the money that we have available to us by budgeting in a manner that we should be able to afford them. I know we do have money in our accounts. I need to look further at the figures actually through Councillor Shackleton to have a better informed decision than what I can say, because I really haven't got that, apart from what you're telling me. I need to come myself and thank you very much. But I do feel that it's something that we have talked about local towns and we really need to take action on or have a vote on one way or the other, whether they're in bad maintenance or not. It's something that maybe we could look into. We've got the people from Whitby to have a discussion regarding, is it Downflow that we got that came to speak with us? About it being cost neutral, that they could do it, make it cost neutral. So if we took it on at 5,000 a toilet and the 20,000 incentive to take it on, and then even if we budgeted 50,000 out of our budget, that's 105,000 for the first year of taking the toilets on with Downflow or some other people that would come and give us other cost prices to keep them on. Also, another thought process is like the toilets at the bottom of Copple Landing or the one outside of Tesco's, half of it toilet, half of it rent it out, get some money coming back in, refund it if that's what Scarborough Council will allow to do on their package of taking over the toilets. And we did have some information from last time we discussed this. I don't know if it's the same anymore or whether it's changed. You said there's been no change to it, so I'm presuming it's the same thing of the use of the property of the toilets, which is for interpretation. I think if we could, in principle, agree to take them on, then maybe we could fashion with this out with Scarborough Council a little bit further, because in principle it was just a discussion, it's not a complete yes or no. We're just going to hopefully discuss it further and keep it a discussion point and a conversation going forward. I think it's too much of a strong point just with all to say it's too difficult, it's going to cost too much money. It needs to be looked into further. Thank you.
Right, I'll go on to Councillor Wilkie now.
I just wanted to point out that the figures that we had previously, which ended up going to cost us £70,000, that was charging 40 pence per toilet based on the footfall that Scarborough Borough Council gave us, which was basically not worth the paper it was written on. So you're right, it could be more, it could be less. But for me personally, I think that the maintenance costs that we got, I think we could sort that out, because I think that's just been mismanaged by the borough. Paying 75 quid to replace a toilet roll, for example, things like that. So I think we could sort that out. That's not the issue for me. The issue is the state of the buildings and bringing them up to a standard that we could then take them on a long-term basis. It would be hundreds, tens of thousands of pounds on top of the 70 that we might be using per year. So for me it's about the state of the buildings as they are now and the maintenance costs, not necessarily the running costs.
But the state of buildings aren't going to change, are they, if you stay with Scarborough Council? It's still going to be just as bad and there will be complaints through them anyway.
So to come back to you, Chair, so if we take them on, it'll be us as a council closing toilets, because that's what will happen. we will have to close some toilets. That was one of the sticking points that we
So
had
we
to
would rather start the council close them then than
Well, I would, absolutely.
even though we've got control of them and can open them at a later date.
Well,
when-
would you like to sit on this council saying I'm closing, I've taken on the toilet, I'm closing to all three?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Can I respond to
Yes.
that? I don't particularly want to sit on this council and say that we haven't done all that we can to get hold of these toilets whilst they're available to us. And I'm aware of everybody's sensitivity regarding money. I'm not saying that it's not a difficult position. I totally understand that it is. But I think from the negativity, you have to just not be brave, that's a silly thing to say, but you have to be forward thinking. And we can actually put money into these as a council and be cost neutral and get other people coming in to maintain them and run them. It doesn't have to be as arduous as it sounds, I don't truly believe. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I do think that if we had to close 2 toilets to keep 5 toilets open and the 5 local people knew that we had a programme to say in the next 4 years we can open these toilets back up better repaired and better done once we've got money. We can't do it overnight, but we can project manage this, we can fund it, we can put it in budgets, we can work towards it. It doesn't have to be black and white, a yes and a no. It's we can move forward with this council proactively for Filey, for the community and for the people that live and work here. Thank you.
Right, thank you for that. It's Councillor Anthony now, and then Councillor Shackleton, and then Councillor Haxley.
I think the way we've looked at this all along has been really blinkered. We've just looked at the facts and, well, they're not facts, are they, because they're all a bit blurry around the edges, but we've never looked at the opportunities out there. We've never talked to local builders who might want to put something back into the community. We've never sort of, like Councillor Holden Banks said, look at maybe split, you know, with SBC's agreement, which I think they've already talked about, you know, making a taxi kiosk or a selling kiosk for half of the ones down on the front. There's so many opportunities and so many other ways that we could make money or get local people involved. People don't want the toilets to shut, we don't want them to shut, but we've got to do something about it. We can't just sit back and say, well, it's Scarborough's fault. You know, people will not want to come to Filey if the toilets are in the state they're in now. I just think we're abdicating responsibility, and it's a shame.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Anthony. Councillor Shackleton.
Okay, yeah, well, first, members keep going on about Whitby. Well, Whitby's a completely different kettle of fish. They probably have more visitors in winter than we have all year round. So, the revenue they're getting on their toilets is way above what, Filey could ever wish for. I heard Councillor Anthony's comment actually about drawing money out of the bank. Well, I think by the bank she means our investments. Well, those investments gain interest, and interest forms part of our budget. If we didn't have that interest, we would have to be set for extra monies. That said, once you've drawn that money, that has gone. And as a council, we have no way of replacing that money. Secondly, on about doing things with these toilets, I think we all members agree that the conditions that we saw in that form of SBC was also quite dubious. There was a lot in there that was a bit, smoke and mirrors, if you want to call it that. Really dubious of what we could do with them, and just what a hand that Scarborough Borough Council would still have in it. Also, that there could well be problems with the 2 that's attached. The one in the gardens, and also the one at the bottom of Martin's Ravine. There could be problems there, because I believe they wanted us to lease them. I think they gave the others free. I think there was something regarding a lease for the it was peculiar, to say the least. Has already been stated this evening, it could be possible that we can't afford to keep all these toilets open, as probably SBC are feeling the crunch at the moment. So that would possibly mean closing one. Also, we might have to precept to keep these toilets open, plus charge 40 pence, for a fee, if you want to call it that. So that would really be a double whammy on our residents. A, they'd be paying precept to keep the toilets open, And if they wanted a fee, they'd be paying for the fence as well. You know, this town is not all about visitors. We've got to think of our residents as well. You know, we can precept for all sorts of things. But, you know, I'm nothing against putting the precept up, but it's got to be something that the people want. And I think if we did a referendum around fire, I think we'd be surprised at the people who would say that we would take them toilets on.
Right?
Yeah, that's my second round this evening, Chair.
Right, have you got it on your system now, Councillor?
Yes, I think so.
Good, Councillor
I'm
Harris.
just making my point, Chair, that's all.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question of anybody abdicating responsibility. They are not our responsibility, so how can we abdicate it? They are the borough council, and they refuse to spend any maintenance money on them, as they've done with the Everon Centre. We've already seen how much that was going to cost to bring up to today's standard, which is why they wanted us to buy it. Why do you think the borough wants us to take the toilets on? Do you think if they could make money out of them, we'd be given the chance to run them? Will they let us run the country car park, which is their biggest money spin around here? No. We'll ask for it and they won't give us it. Why? Because it makes money for them. Secondly, we're still not resolved why some of them were leasehold and some were freehold. They couldn't give us an answer to that, as I'm aware. They never did answer it. And if they are leasehold, you can't use local contractors. You have to use approved contractors, as I understand it. So you couldn't just go to our local joiners and painters and say, sort it. It has to be an approved contractor who needs 10 million public liability, etc., etc., etc. As has been said, that capital you're talking about spending, once it's gone, it's gone. A lot of it's earmarked for sports centres and other projects. Once it's gone out of the system, A, it's losing interest, so you're having to preset more to make up that lost interest. B, it's not then available for the projects that it's earmarked for, whether they're tomorrow or the day after. It needs to be there to cover projects. One day, and I don't give up hope that we'll get this leisure centre with a fitness suite and God knows what. I'm still hoping it's there, but you can't give the money away and say, no, we're not going to get it. You know, that's as bad as saying we'll take the toilets on and lose a load of money. And I think, as has been said, if you go around the town and ask, would you like your precept double? Or that toilet kept open? I know what the people would say. But I can guarantee you go look at those Royal Parade toilets. The roof is in a dubious state for a start. There are cracks down the wall. So there's subsidence. So you're telling me 5 grand's going to cover that? No way. I'm sorry. You go to the top one up there. There's no paint on it. The soffits are absolutely knick-knack. All the fascias are gone. The floor needs totally doing because it's concrete. And the internal facilities need sorting out. That's just 2 of them. The Glen Garden ones, well, they're just the hole you can go in and have a pay. They're terrible. The Cobble Landing ones, as already been said, are awful. They just won't spend money on them. So it's not us abdicating responsibility. It's the Borough Council we should have in a go at.
Through you, Chair, by that I meant to the town. We're abdicating responsibility to the town.
No,
It's
because
not
they're
just
not our toilets. No, I'm sorry, if you ask a majority of people in Filey if they want their precept doubled or that toilet open, I know what to say.
Yeah, but that isn't the question.
And for visitors, how many towns do you go to and the first thing you look at is where's the toilets? Honestly.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
If you go to a town that you've never been before, the first thing you think about, oh, where's the toilet?
I don't go into the toilet.
You go to a town because you need to go to the town. And if you need to go to the loo, you ask somebody in that town where the nearest one is. There's bound to be one open somewhere. They aren't going to close the lot anyway. And let's finally get rid of this rumour that they're going to be closed. As the chairman said right at the beginning, nobody's ever said they're going to close the toilet. It's just a bad rumour that people are circulating to compound the problem.
Right. Councillor Holden Banks.
I don't think at any point any of us ever thought the 5,000 per toilet would be sufficient to do anything with the toilets. That was just a offer from Scarborough. It wasn't the fact that it should make them any better. Taking on board what both Councillor Shackleton and Councillor Haxley have said, I would like to propose that we actually write to the public and ask them how they feel about if their precept was to be increased to take the public toilets on, because I really don't feel it's up to the small amount of councillors here today to make decisions. I think the public should be aware and have a say if they are happy or unhappy. And we did this for grass cutting. We sent a thing out for grass cutting, and I know very, very few people wrote back. But if it's open for people, I think we wrote them last time, am I right? But it's about grass cutting.
Yeah, it went down on the bottom of the scale.
Right. So, I don't know whether that's a similar thing to do, or do a monthly like we do now.
No. But before you propose anything, Councillor Roderick wants to speak.
Basically, no, I'm you preempt what I was about to say. I'm not going to always, let's do a precept rule out for a start, because it doesn't work that way. What we should be asking people, we need accurate figures. We've already admitted that the ones they've got are, quite frankly, are rubbish. So we need proper figures with a proper estimate. Then you can go to the public and you can say, this is how much it is going to cost. Are you in of this?
Well, just don't see back there, Christine, through you, Chair, is that we won't ever get proper figures. That's half the problem. But Councillor Haxley seems quite assured that a lot of people wouldn't want their precept doubled to get the toilets. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. All I'm saying is let's give it out to the public to let them make the decision, or give us some information as to how they would like us to move forward as their council representatives. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sorry, back to you.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. There's a same concern that a lot of the information seems to be basically to say that it's information that is difficult to make a decision on. Quite why they were conducting that, that's beyond me, but that's another argument. I agree with you that we should be, if we take this on, that we discuss it with the public, ask them, do you want to do this? Do you want us to do this? Is it important to you? Do you realise it might cost you a bit more? Do you realise that this has to be paid for? Which they probably don't. But if they aren't given the opportunity to have the information and make their decision appropriately, I think we're being very unfair to them, to be honest. Whichever way it goes. And that is what I think.
Councillor Wilkie?
In terms of the figures, we can ask for some more up-to-date figures, but we'll just get the same figures as we had before. We went through a long process, I think one previous slide, put all the figures, all the opportunities, and whilst we need to involve, the public in the town, we've had consultations before, and they just don't respond, unfortunately, for us. So we don't really get a true...
But that's their choice though, isn't it?
We don't get a true representation of what we should do. We're here in this council to look after the public money and spend it in the best way. And to me, yes, we might have investments, we've got this, but it's not there to spend, necessarily. And if you
what's there to do this then?
Well, then we'd be bankrupt.
No, well, I don't mean spend willy-nilly, but this is putting back into fire, isn't it?
So if you're saying £50,000 per year that it might cost us, for argument's sake.
I'm saying 50,000 per year,
So after 5 years we spent £250,000. So how do we replace that?
I'm not suggesting that we spend 50,000. I was just saying to begin with 50
well,
that's money. But then it could be cost neutral. We could get somebody in to do it, like we got discussed. They came in and talked before about it. We wouldn't make any money out of it, but we wouldn't lose any money. The toilets would hopefully stay open.
So can I come back, Chair, through you?
Yes.
So if we can do it cost neutral, why can't Scarborough Council do something else cost neutral?
We probably can.
So why don't we let them get on with it then? Why don't we ask them to look at ways to make it cost neutral?
because I think through you, Chair, the whole point of it, for me personally, is ownership of the toilets. We are no longer under Scarborough Council. Filey Council own them. If Barry wants them open for whatever it is, he comes to Filey Council to ask if it's a doable issue. We have a debate, discuss it, say yay or nay. It's nothing to do with Scarborough. We have fully control of what we do going forward with those toilets, financially, and the opening and the closing and everything else there is to do with it. The blame would lie with Filey, the joy would lie with Filey. It's all right saying Scarborough, all the rest of it. I totally understand that Scarborough is lacking in an awful lot of areas, but I just think this is in a position that we can take this on board, and rather than, you know, it's here, it's available, we either do it or we don't, and I just think, you know, we've discussed it, quite agree with Councillor Shackleton-Haxley, it's been discussed that many times, it's been brought back up again now, and I do think it's worth a conversation to see what more information is any more available. And for the local people to make an informed decision, as informed as we can give them, because we don't get a lot of information. But I know it's hard to make a decision on something when you haven't got all the facts, but I think at the end of the day, it's like, do we as a council want the toilets, or do we as a council not? Because we can't base it on good facts, because we don't have any and we'll never have any. Can we make it work, or can't we make it work? Is it important a field for us? I mean, as Councillor Shackleton quite correctly said, we've had money put aside for the skate park, and as Councillor Haxley said, he still hopes that this leisure centre will come. We've had money put aside from that. I did ask the clerk if money's put aside, as long as it's budgeted for every year, that money can stay going round and round in circles. So let's, you know, put ourselves forward as a council and do it. And if it doesn't work and we find it too difficult, which I'm sure we will, because we're intelligent people here and we represent Filey, which is a beautiful community. We need to put Filey, and if this John Paul Jones thing comes off, Richard Bonhomme thing, and we need nice facilities for everything, for everybody, not just for tourists, for everybody. But you all know how I feel about this, so I think I'm just talking around the circles now.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Holden.
Thank you.
Councillor Shackleton, and then Councillor Bosworth, and then Councillor Haxley.
Yeah, members have been saying that we don't have the figures that we can rely on or depend on. I think one figure we do have that we can rely on is £70,000 a year that this council came up with that those toilets were going to cost. Admittedly, they were on dubious figures from the Borough Council, but I think the Borough Council's figures were wrong in their favour and not the other way. I think it's way out cost-wise. As Councillor William has said about somebody coming in to run the toilets, well, my understanding of it is that any firm that comes in to run those toilets would want 100% spick and span up-to-date toilets. They will not take on toilets like the condition we have in Filey. And the lick of paint is not going to improve them. You know, it would be difficult for a firm to come in and say, yeah, I would like to put my name on that toilet door and represent this toilet. It's not going to happen.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Shackleton. Councillor Buttonworth, and then Councillor Haxley.
We keep talking about ownership of these toilets. My understanding is it's of the leasehold, so we wouldn't own them.
99 years.
So we wouldn't own them. And as I understand it, there was some thing in there that the borough could take them back if they were not maintained or profitable or something. So wasn't there a little bit of rider in there?
If Filey Town Council wouldn't seem to be doing right.
Mm-hmm.
If Filey Town Council take them on, we've got to keep toilets.
The whole lot, not
just... That's basically what the borough said.
Yeah.
It was the whole lot or not?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yes. Right. Councillor Haxley.
We were elected by the public to sit here and make their decisions. We can't consult the public on every little matter. And they'll make the decision in May when they elect or do not elect people as to whether you're suitable or not. The only people that respond in the main to such leaflet drops are the people that have access to ground. And it's generally the traders who pay all their rates to the borough and nod to Filey Town Council that want the toilets open, because a lot of the allegations are it will stop visitors coming to the town. We've already heard that tonight. Whereas the majority find it wouldn't make a difference. So So, you know, it's alright to say, yes, we'll have a leaflet drop and let people respond to it. But it can be very bad. It can be very bad. I'm not saying it is, it can be. Because the people, as I say, with access to ground are generally the ones that want to fill them in.
Okay. Right, at this point I will move the standing order 3E and adjourn the meeting while Councillor Cockles speaks.
Thank you, Ray. Just some items of information and possibly clarification. I want to make it clear to everybody. I have not seen any information apart.
Can you speak up a
Sorry.
little bit, Damavin?
I've not seen any information apart from what you have seen, but I have been informally asked my view on having to close one or more toilets in Filey. I have, as you would expect, informally expressed my total opposition to any closure. I must totally agree with what's been said about the condition of the toilets. They're terrible. Some of them are alright, passable, but basically terrible. Lack of maintenance, totally agree. You may have seen it, it has been reported my views in the media, where I have strongly argued that I will strenuously oppose any toilet closure. That, regrettably, is going to come to Cabinet in a month's time.
Right.
And that will be D-Day. Right. I can confirm that there will be no problem with, I would say, reducing the size of some of the facilities from a public convenience point of view. I'm looking at alternative commercial opportunities in other parts of existing buildings. No problem whatsoever. The Borough Council will be doing that in any case. Nothing else, eh?
Is that it, Councillor?
Yeah, just wanted to clarify those points.
Right, I will now end the adjournment and only members of the council may speak. Councillor Holden Bank.
It's a question to Councillor Cockle actually, with regard to what you just said of splitting some of the toilets. The rent, would that go back to Filey or to Scarborough that you got from renting out half of the convenience?
Whoever was owning
It
them.
was ever so you could make money then. Yeah.
If I could, Chairman, one thing that you may or may not know, that in the budget it was announced that from next year there will be no business rates on public toilets, and that will be an immediate saving of over £5,000 per year. So that needs feeding into the equation.
Can I just reply to that?
Yes, Councillor.
I believe that is discretionary as well, Councillor Cochran.
I'm not
So
aware
if
of that.
Scarborough Borough Council wish not to,
I'm not aware of that.
I have an information sheet here. Yeah. And it also states that that is on standalone toilets. So would that work with the ones that's attached in Glen Gardens and also on Royal Parade?
Depends on the definition of standalone. Yeah.
They don't stand alone.
Yeah.
They're
Could
attached.
you follow that to us, John?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Councillor Anthony.
I'd just like to sort of take exception to what Councillor Haxby said about it doesn't affect the people of Filey. It does affect the people of Filey. It's not just the visitors. If the visitors stop coming here, the shop's shut, and that does affect Filey. Filey essentially dies. So it's not just about the people who live in the town having access to toilets. We need the tourists to keep on coming, to keep this town alive.
Thank you for that. Councillor Anthony, Councillor Holdenbank.
Thank you. I would just also like to respond to Councillor Haxby when he suggested that we can't, I think he used the word willy-nilly, but I can't remember, to ask the public for their consultation on things. The only one consultation I've ever known about, and I don't know if consultation is the right word, is for the grass cutting. In the 4 years I've been on here, that we've asked the public for anything. So this, and I don't think the toilets are a small thing. I think they're a big thing, and I think they should be given the right to have a say on their own precepts, if we need to put it up or not, if they would be available or would be happy on a whole, let them have a choice and a say on it. And on that note, I would like to then, if I may, just to try and get somewhere with this, to propose writing to the public on the back of the letter like we did last time, asking them their opinions of a prefix if it has to go up for us to be able to afford buying public toilets.
Right, well, before you do that,
Okay.
right, you've got to rescind the minute of 6 months ago that this is all about.
Okay.
Okay, so we need
Have we
the
got
full council to rescind this minute before you can put a proposal through. Yes, you can, Councillor Costello. I've been through this with my LCA. Councillor
Yes, it's
Shackleton.
not only about the precept, it's about the charge as well. Because I think these toilets will have to be charged for, obviously, to
Yeah, exactly.
so there'll be a precept charge increase and there'll be a charge.
Right, Clark?
I think referring to finances as well, that just to reiterate and to sort of gain some clear picture of what that would mean from the RFO point of view. There would need to be a substantial capital investment as a first off, and I would suggest that none of us have got any idea what that capital investment would be. It could be 50,000, it could be 250,000 to get the current facility up to a level of acceptability to us all. That would, first of all, that would be a jump out of our reserve, and we would never see that again. So it would cost us that somewhere in that a considerable amount of money. We don't know how much it is, but it's going to be more than the 50,000 that's been currently offered to us by SPC. So we would need that information before we could make any decision. We would also need a fresh set of figures in terms of what the football would be, what our consideration of what the cost would be, and to revisit what the potential subcontractors would be willing to do this sort of job for. As a short-term countermeasure, we do have a report that was produced in June that hasn't changed as far as I'm concerned. The information is still relevant, so that is there already for us to have a look at. And really, from a procedural point of view, I would suggest that all we can do tonight in terms of resolving anything is to say that if we agree, someone wants to do it, is to go and look at the figures again.
You've mentioned capital investment, and it wouldn't only just be, to do the toilets up and get them up and running, but it's been discussed briefly about perhaps splitting the toilets, and that would also come at a capital investment.
Absolutely.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor Brotherman.
Does this involve the district valuer as well in anything like this?
I'm not sure. Well, it will depend how much it is.
How much we're spending would involve the
district. Yeah.
Us reverting to authority to spend that kind of money, wouldn't it?
Quite possibly.
Over a certain amount, yes.
I know we have to get the district valuer involved over the police station.
Yeah. If we're spending that kind of capital, we have to.
Well, we don't know how much it is.
Back that though, that if we get the district value involved, that's another ongoing cost as well, because that's costing an arm and a leg.
Councillor Wilkie, yes, come on.
I think maybe what Councillor Holdback is maybe jumping the gun a little bit. I'm not totally against it, but maybe we need to decide whether we're going to discuss it further.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So currently we've got something minuted that we weren't going to.
We have
go forward.
The minute is that the option one at the June meeting on that, it was decided that was the option we would go forward with, which was to do not to engage in taking on the devolution of the running of those toilets at all. Within that, at the time, there was also a statement by Scarborough Council that that was the last and final offer, and if it wasn't taken up, then that was taken off the board and we weren't able to go forward any more with that. So we would have to have that agreed or whatever to see whether they're willing to look at that and what the deal would be.
Right, so we basically need a proposal as to whether to use the offer that we've already got to discuss again and see where we get to.
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Didn't you say something about rescinding something?
Yes, because that minute's already standing there, like that, you can move forward on that. But if you propose anything different on that, that minute has to be rescinded and you start over again. I'm sorry, but that's how it is, and that's what I got from back from Brian's here.
So, right, so if I put a proposal forward that we take the figures that we've got from the borough and the offer we've got, and we just bring it to the council to discuss again and see where we get to, that's a proposal, isn't it? We need to make an amendment or
yeah, of course you can.
But we need a proposal to move this forward, don't we?
Can I get this right, Mr Chairman, because the borough have already stated that that was our last and final say on the matter. So we're going through all this one now, make turn around so you've had your chance too.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why you've got...
Well, no, that it's minuted as that. I don't care shaking your head, you know what the borough's like. If it's minuted as that, then we need to make sure that they're happy we go further.
Yeah, and that is why you've got to rescind that.
And if they are, why did they say it in the first place and try and railroad us into taking the deal off?
And I'm adamant about that because I'm not going to really sat here and take the full whack for not doing that.
So how do we word the proposal then? What's the word in there?
We need to rescind that minute for a start.
Well, you only have to rescind the minute when you have decided that you're going to go forward on something different to what you're going. You can propose, as Kevin said,
so we can discuss
it again.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's because we're not actually saying we're going to do anything, we're just going to discuss it.
So if we discuss it and then we decide to then go forward, then we have to rescind it.
But there's no further information forthcoming from the last several times we've discussed it. What on earth's the point of sitting again and discussing it? We're only going over ground that we've already done, with no new information. So what's the point? We've already done it. Same councillors sat here that's done it.
Yeah.
Might be different vote this time then.
Yeah, well, come there, yeah.
Same information, same everything.
Councillor Holden.
I know you keep telling me I can't propose things. Can I propose something now?
Well, we've got a proposal. I've put a proposal forward.
Kevin's put a proposal forward, which is quite within line.
But so you can amend that or put your own proposal.
Well, you've got to have a second.
Yes, you need a seconder for the proposal.
Can you repeat the proposal?
Well, I just propose that we take the figures that we've already got and the offer we've already got, bring it back to council and discuss again, see where we get to. And then we'll know whether we're moving forward or not, won't we? Now, that needs a seconder, and then we'll vote on it. It could be defeated.
If I want to amend what Kevin's saying, does he need to have a second before I can amend it?
I need a seconder for that proposal.
I second it, as it stands on what you've said, yes. Now you can amend it if you want, can't you?
So the proposal is that we use the figures that we've got, the information we've got, to have another discussion and see where we get.
Yes.
Whether we want to move forward or not.
You want a second?
I've got a second.
I've got one. Councillor Rodway.
Councillor Holden-Bax has got an amendment.
Yes, come on.
Right. Okay, so my amendment is that I would like to propose, in principle, for Filey Town Council to have a further discussion with Scarborough Town Council regarding public conveniences, And also, I would like to propose that the Farley Town Council allocate funds in next year's budget 2019-2020 of 50,000 for public conveniences.
Right, we've got to vote on the amendment first. Have you got a seconder for that, Madam? Yes, Councillor Anthony. So we need to have a vote on the amendment first. All those in favour of the amendment, please show. 1, 2, 3. 3. Right, those against? 5, 6. Right, now we'll go for the proposal.
5 and 5.
5. Right, which is carried. We'll go through the...
So the amendment's defeated, we'll go back to the original proposal.
Yeah. Right, you proposed it, you seconded. A vote for the proposal, please, all show.
It's 4.
Well, I don't know what Sue's not here.
Yeah. Can you repeat what your proposal was, Kevin?
So the proposal is that we take the figures that we've got and the offer we've got from Scarborough Borough Council and discuss again
New information.
to decide whether we go forward or not.
Yes, that's fine.
And any new information they may have.
Yeah. Okay. All those in favour of that, please, sure.
5,
Yeah.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
Okay. Those against? 1, 2, 3. So that's carried.
Just that, Chair, that we've already done this, and we've come to this stage. Just going over old rubbish. Sorry.
Right, well, it's been proposed, it's been seconded, it's been carried, it will come up. Okay. So if there's a proposal made that changes this minute that still stands, it has to be rescinded. Simple as that. Okay? Right, we'll move on.
Well, actually, the minute is that the council resolved not to proceed any further with regard to the devolution of public conveniences. It's not going over the figures again, proceeding further with it. Of course it is. You're going further with the information you've got. So it's contrary to that law.
The minute still stands, isn't it?
It's resolved not to proceed any further with regard to the devolution of public conveniences from Scarborough Council. Can't be any more clearer than that.
That's 6 months ago.
That's 6 months ago, so that needs to be rescinded if you're going to go forward.
Well, rescind it then.
Rescind it, the next week.
Not rescinded it.
Well, we haven't been
We
You need
need to...
Oh my God, what that was then.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Thought somebody got trapped. I don't know. Right.
Have we got a proposal to rescind that?
Right, in that case, now that we've read that out, we need to rescind that minute. Right? Have we got a proposal to rescind that
I
minute?
propose to rescind the
We've got a proposal from the seconder, that's Councillor Holden Banks and Councillor Roderick. You've got to rescind that minute before you move forward.
I don't know why it's less than, it's more than 6 months ago. It's 7 months now.
Yes, but even if you cannot rescind the minute until it's 6 months old.
But it is 6 months old, then 7 months old.
To rescind it,
It doesn't automatically
you've got,
rescind.
it doesn't automatically
fine,
finish, you've got to rescind it.
Well, I don't know why we didn't do that until
Right.
John read that out then. We could have done that.
Alright,
We received the day minute, but not the right one.
Oh, right.
so you know, you've got to do that before you can move on. And this is what I've been trying to say all along.
Right, well, lead us the right way then, make sure we'll get on.
Right, we've got a proposal and a second, this is rescind the minute.
Yes.
Can we have the vote on this, please? All those in favour of rescinding the minutes and move on?
This is so we can do your proposal.
Yeah.
We have to rescind the other one to do the one.
You have to rescind that to do yours.
My feeling was that we talked about it before we rescinded the minutes.
No, we can't do that.
You can't do
Seemingly
it,
not
because
now.
it's, as he's read it out, that minute out.
I'm not supporting.
As John's read that minute out, that proves that you have to rescind the minute before you can move on with anything else on that toilets.
Yeah, well, I don't want to do it that way.
So,
No other way to do it, seemingly.
there's no other way out of it.
Well, I
That's
didn't
it.
know that. I thought we
Well, none of it didn't.
Because that minute that John that Councillor Hatchley read out stands until it's actually rescinded. Alright?
So the 6 months doesn't mean anything then?
The 6 months is when you can actually rescind the minute.
Right.
That's a minimum of
So we should have rescinded before we did any of this then, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Should have
So,
Just if you know what I mean.
yeah. So, there we go. Alright.
I know it's changed today.
So what do we do? We're not talking about the toilets anymore now, that's done.
Done. Finished. Alright. We're going on now, moving to the...
Did we rescind the minute or not?
No.
Alright. Pardon?
Kevin didn't, we were defeated, Kevin didn't vote.
No.
I didn't.
It didn't vote.
Well,
There was one
we got I didn't vote for.
No.
But I didn't vote against either. That's all right.
So your proposal is not happening now?
Can we just clarify?
Yeah, let's clarify that.
You withdraw
Yeah.
your proposal.
You withdrawing your proposal then?
Well, yeah, because
We'll kind of vote. If he's withdrawing his proposal, we've already voted on it.
I don't want to rescind the minute first, so then, therefore, if we can't do it either way, then the proposal's withdrawn.
But we voted on your proposal when it went through.
Yes.
Constitutional.
That's constitutional.
So,
Is it unconstitutional, David? We need to be right on this.
It's very dependent upon the semantics of the words that are there. It is how you interpret that minute in terms of saying, I forget the exact words,
The fact is, the council was sick to death of discussing it, and it was resolved that
yeah.
the council resolved not to proceed any further with regard to the devolution of public conveniences from Scarborough Borough Council. And discussing it and going over information again is obviously proceeding further.
So that's
So
way.
it's an
I would, if in the understanding of how that was written, it was written as a final and definite statement that was the end.
Yes.
And therefore, constitutionally, we should rescind that before we go ahead with anything else.
That's what they say.
So do you want to have a clear vote again on rescinding the minute, or are you happy with...
Well, I'm confused because you put a proposal forward and we voted on yours, and it went through, but now it's unconstitutional.
It's unconstitutional, therefore we can...
You can't.
Right.
So you need to vote against the rescinding that,
So we're for
Right. You need to rescind this minute if you're going to carry on i.e. as Kevin.
Well, do you want to have another vote on rescinding the minute, and then we're clear what we're doing?
Exactly.
We voted.
We voted.
It's the vote against that hasn't voted.
Once you rescinded the minute, the whole discussion has to take place again.
I get that. I just want to think clear on who's voting for and against rescinding the minute. Because I didn't
Sue's
vote
not even
either
here
way.
for any of this anyway. She's not even here.
What were you doing then?
Well, it didn't get to the point of voting against.
Can you just vote against it? Won't that be the best?
This is so silly. Well, a big issue.
I know you do realise this is being videoed, don't you?
Well, I do, but it's a really big issue. We should be a bit more clear about what we're doing before we started. If we'd known this information, the clerk could tell us about the rescinding right at the beginning of the conversation, because they've had that vote and gone home half an hour ago. Over to you, Chair.
To be fair, the agenda was that Councillor Roderick was seeking information more than anything, not wanting to proceed with it at this time. You know, it was never intended, I don't think, to vote on this.
I do know what I'm thinking, it must be wonderful for you sometimes.
I'm saying what I'm interpreting your thoughts as.
Thank you, I
which will make it
my own
easier.
thoughts, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I don't think so. So, in that case, you know, this would really never have happened.
No, it wouldn't.
And it wasn't agendaed to happen.
We're going to have a Groundhog Day then.
No, it's my proposal basically dead, isn't it? Because